I'm sorry.
You're run of the mill. You're run of the mill.
I've had a rough week. All right, let me go again. All right. And whatever happens. I know, but I'm nervous.
Do we want to do a breath together?
Oh yeah, let's.
Yeah.
Let's.
All right. That was orgasmic.
Oh my goodness. Well, that's our intro right there. Open audition and make a new track. I hit reduce reverb to stop the feedback. There is a danger I can peek for you, or hear the outside noise of the adjoining room. Fifth period. About films that we're screening. Hello everybody and welcome back to Fifth Period for Term 2, the film podcast usually hosted by two media teachers. But today we're mixing it up a little bit because look, we know you get sick of our two faces.
Nice.
See what I did there?
Yeah, that was very good.
All right, and so natural too.
So organic.
It's almost like it's the first time I've done it. Almost. My name is Mr. Brown, and with me today is
Josh, hello.
and
Mr. Boylan.
we are very, very excited to be back. So you might be wondering why we're doing something a little bit different today. And it's because we got some very sad news in the last week of term with Val Kilmer passing. So we decided we were going to do Batman Forever for our final film appreciation club. And it didn't feel right to do your run-of-the-mill podcast for that. So we thought we'd get together over the holidays, do a video podcast, and bring along our expert in all things Batman and Val Kilmer.
Thank you very much.
That's how we phrase it when Maddie's on as well. We say expert in Harry Potter, and then so much pressure is on
That
her.
specific area. Yeah, great.
Just that Venn diagram of Val Kilmer and Batman. That's it. Yeah.
Which actually opens up a lot of possibilities.
It does.
I found. There's so many films as a result of that combination that I'm really excited to talk about. Some of my favourite films, which I'm sure we'll get to later. But
Beautiful.
Obviously, Batman Forever is one of the best.
Oh, absolutely it is. And
Underrated masterpiece, in my opinion.
masterpieces.
Masterpiece.
Underrated, yes.
Yeah. Hey, each to their own. He's the expert.
I'm the
after all.
expert.
You
Don't
are
question
Batman,
me.
so,
Thank
yeah.
you.
Now, in addition to our main discussion of Batman Forever today, we are also going to be doing a rival ranking of, I want to say, the live-action Batman franchise, but we've kind of
We're taking some liberties.
picked and choosed what we're going to do. So there's 10 in the mix. We'll get to that later. But
That was
we're
so
also
camp, like Joel Schumacher.
picked and choosed. Okay, your parents are dead. Go. So we've picked and choosed a couple from the films that we like, and some that we don't like so much that we're geared up to do a rival ranking on. But we're also going to be doing our 5 favorite Val Kilmer films and talking a little bit about Val as just a bit of a dedication later in the pod. So if you do want to skip ahead to any of that, I will leave time codes in the description below.
Hi, I'm Woody,
And I'm Elliot.
and today we'll be discussing
Batman Forever.
A big thank you to Woody and Elliot for their intro to the pod today. So we don't actually teach Woody or Elliot, but they were
Neither do I.
super... Well, no, of course not. Wouldn't that be a fun twist?
It's like,
I know them very well.
But we met them in film club last week, and they were sitting up at the front, really loving it. They had some great, colourful commentary on Batman.
Yes, they did.
It was very, very good. But as I remember, Woody's not a huge fan. Sorry, Elliot's not a huge fan of romance films, but both Woody and Elliot like action films.
Yep.
And I think Elliot might even be working his way through the Marvel franchise at the
He's
moment.
watching them with his dad, I'm pretty sure. So, yeah, that's just
A happy occasion.
absolutely
Amazing.
But,
Well, hopefully today's film has enough action for Woody and not too much romance for Elliot. So we get that
anytime,
perfect balance.
Chase Meridian pops up on
Oh, my
screen.
goodness.
Oh, my goodness.
Woo!
Nicole.
Everybody calm down.
But they've been
Glad I
pretty...
wore a singlet.
Exactly right. But both of them have been pretty regular features at Film Club in term 1. It's always good to, we get excited about having all the different Year 7s come through and find something that they enjoy, in their infancy of high school. So it's been really good to have them at Film Club and felt right to end the term with them delivering the intro. So,
Well, it was great too because they both really got quite excited when the idea of, oh, can we do it,
Yeah.
came up. And I was like, oh, well, you can do it together if you want, guys. So that collaboration, it's very Riddler and Two-Face, isn't it? So perfect. Absolutely
In
perfect.
that it's incredibly competitive.
Oh.
And they're just trying to outdo each other constantly.
And as soon as we stopped recording, they were at each other. So
Which we'll
thank
get
you very
to, I'm
much,
sure.
guys. And hopefully you enjoy the ep today. Alrighty, let's jump into Batman Forever. So we kick things off with that incredible score.
It's who is it again? It's Elliot Goldenthal, his soundtrack. He's done a couple of other movies which I like, one of them being Shakespearean, which is a film called Titus, but it's kind of got that same epic scale to it. It feels almost gladiatorial, that sort of music.
Goldenthal by name, Goldenthal by nature. Hey.
Exactly.
It does have a bit of a different feel to Elfman's score from like the first couple of films, which is good. And I think because like that was the direction that they had, was just like try not to take too much sort of from what Danny Elfman was doing and have it your own. And I think, particularly with like the sweeping logos coming in very deliberate like colours.
Bright colours, really good.
It sort of feels like you're on a roller coaster from the beginning, like a theme park.
100%.
And that carries through, but you get that from the opening credits.
And then we get all the close-ups of the gadgets. Now, I love this.
Swing, swing, swing. They sound
Swing, swing, dong.
we don't say he's dong until much later.
That's later. But we were talking about this the other day, and we thought there weren't going to be any gratuitous butt shots, but they sneak some in
There's a couple,
towards the
not as-
latter end of the film.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Joel was Schumacher was still getting comfortable with that side of things.
Dipping his toe in the
And then
gratuitous butt shots.
before we get to Batman and Robin, it was like, nah, just bring him on.
Yeah.
Just bring him on.
It's so good.
Now, I've heard that Val Kilmer's suit is the first of the bat nipples, but I didn't see a nipple. Did I miss?
Oh,
miss
then
nipple?
you weren't looking, because those nipples, they were there.
They're
It's
prominent.
all I was looking at. It's not as obvious as the next film because the next film has those close-up shots.
Often, yeah.
But the suit that he
Gratuitous
wears,
nipple shot.
the suit that he wears for the majority of this film does have them in it. And
Yeah,
part of it was that Joel Schumacher really wanted them to kind of embody Greek gods in their costumes. So that's why there's also a lot of like statues in this that really represent what they are standing for.
I actually didn't know that, but by the end of the film, particularly the sonar suit, which we'll come to, but the proportions of that, it reminded me of the Statue of David and sort of like Rome, and again, very gladiatorial, very perfect proportions. And so and again, that soundtrack mixes with that really well, of that Greek gods epic.
Yeah, well, they didn't have to actually get buff for the role. They just did it.
put the suit on.
And not like Adam West. That's pure West.
Well, have you heard the story of Jack Nicholson going to Michael Keaton, and Michael Keaton was like doing push-ups, getting ready for Batman.
Yeah.
And Jack Nicholson's like, what are you doing? Like, because he's like, the suit does the work for you, and actually it's going to weigh you, you're going to be heavier. You want to be as light as possible.
Yeah. Well, speaking of heavy, the suit was incredibly hard for Kilmer to wear. Obviously, this is the first time Kilmer's stepping into the suit, the only time Kilmer's stepping into the suit, with Keaton not wanting to return with the direction that Schumacher was going in, a little too camp for him. Even though there was like a working relationship with Joel Schumacher and Val Kilmer that wasn't the best, Joel Schumacher still says that he thinks that Val Kilmer was the best of the Batmans around that late 80s, 90s era, which is pretty cool. And you hear stories about Val Kilmer being difficult to work with. It was so interesting because I watched the Val documentary recently. And it just really sounds like he is someone who cares a lot about the role, wants to understand the role and do it justice. And sometimes that can grate a director the wrong way. Like, they're like, just do what I'm telling you to do. And he's like, well, can't we have a conversation about it? Can't we talk through what the character is? And it was interesting for me to find out that his time on this set was even worse than I had originally thought. So the suit weighed him down a lot. But also he felt like he couldn't bring anything to the role when he was wearing it because it was so limiting in his movement, covered so much of his face. And for a person that cares so much about the characters that he's bringing to the screen, it's pretty disheartening to hear that this role that he was pretty excited to play was so limiting. And he looked on at Tommy Lee Jones and Jim Carrey with such jealousy, seeing what they were bringing to their roles and going, well, look, it's their film now. I'll just get through it.
Well, that's what's interesting, I think, about this film is that you have like really dyed-in-the-wool great actors like Tommy Lee Jones, Val Kilmer, even Nicole Kidman at that stage. I think she, she hadn't had sort of her really dramatic roles at that stage, but I think she took acting really seriously and wanted to make it as complex as possible. But Nicole Kidman was one of those ones where she went to Joel Schumacher and was like, hold on, this doesn't make sense. And why would my character do this? And he goes, it's heightened reality. And she's like, oh, great. And she lent into that. Whereas some actors like Val clearly really struggled with that. They're like, oh, I want to make this as truthful and authentic as possible, but it's difficult for me to do that within this universe and this world.
And I think particularly as well for this film, considering obviously like the backlash that, I mean, like Batman Returns still did well, but Cops was like 150 million less at the box office than Batman 89. And then obviously with a lot of the drama around the fact that like McDonald's had to pull like all the Happy Meal toys.
Yeah.
And like in terms of what Burton did with that film, making it significantly darker than the first film, and they were having to do like a bit of a course correction.
Because wasn't the Penguin just like an old school version of the Penguin that they just painted a different color because they could not do Danny DeVito's Penguin as a toy for kids?
No, it was terrifying.
Absolutely terrifying.
Yeah. And it's like you can understand like why they wanted to sort of course correct, and then going with a dark narrative and sort of trying to unpack a lot of the Bruce Wayne sort of stuff. You can see that's what Val Kilmer wanted to sink his teeth into, but it's still got those elements of it's trying to very much move in a more comic booky direction.
Well, and Schumacher wanted a much darker film too.
Initially, and then they said no.
Did he really? Yeah.
We get hints to it with like the trauma that that Bruce Wayne's going through, but it was supposed to be a lot longer, and it was going to explore that side a lot more, which I would have adored.
Because they were looking at using Frank Miller's Batman Year One as like a source.
That's
material,
right. Yes,
which is like one of the best sort of Batman like graphic novels that's ever been released. But WB was like, no, we want to do a sequel. We don't want to go backwards. So, which would have been a shame because I think Val Kilmer doing Batman Year One sounds pretty cool. So.
And keep in mind, like this is the first foray into the origin story of Batman. It hadn't really been covered. I mean, you get a little bit in Keaton's Batman with the Joker
killed,
which I think actually ruins that relationship. The more mystery to the Joker, the better.
Yeah.
But in this film, they really try and unpack I think for the first time, the psyche of Batman and why he would be, why he would be driven to do these things, which I think is admirable.
One more fun fact before we jump back into the narrative of the film. Did you know that so Val Kilmer was in Africa at the time that he was offered the role?
In a Batcave.
He had just been in a Batcave the day earlier and heard that he'd been offered the role, and he was like, it's a sign, I need to do this.
He didn't read the script.
Well,
it was like, nah, the bats in the cave are telling me I have to take it. That's fine.
Well, he may have read the original script and been like, I'm on board. And then
like, what's this?
They cut it.
well, he does have a very kind of spiritual nature to him as well. Like, he's studied a lot of different religions. I think like signs within the world, he kind of follows that a lot too. But anyway, let's jump back into the lighthearted camp world of the film with Alfred offering him a sandwich on his way up.
Can I persuade you to take a sandwich, sir?
I'll get drive-through.
Cold.
So good.
Cold.
So good. Those are the kinds of winning lines that he had to look forward to.
I'll get drive-through.
It just sets up the vibe of this film to begin with. It's like, okay, gags.
Yep.
Amazing.
Straight off the bat.
Yeah.
Especially the first
good.
line. So,
Yeah.
Also, I really like just all the design elements we see really, really quickly. So you've got like the design of the Batcave, the design of Gotham, but then early on we're introduced to Two-Face, and I love the look of that. That's really cool.
it's pretty cool.
Oh, you look like you don't agree with that.
My problem is that I think the look, I mean, it works with Tommy Lee Jones's version of that role.
Which a lot of people hate.
Which
They're
I
like,
think...
that's not Two-Face.
Yeah, I think it leans way too much into the Joker territory for me. I think he's jiggling around the whole time. He's laughing. It's just, for me, it's just one note the whole film. And I think it ramps up again, which we'll talk about in a minute, I'm sure, when Jim Carrey comes in. And it's just, there's no nuance to it, and I just get the sense that Tommy Lee Jones phoned it in and was like, I really don't know how to be a part of this universe and world.
Well, I don't think he's a Batman enthusiast, but it might have been his son.
Yeah, he said,
or-
I love this character, you should go do it.
You have real opportunity to explore the like Jekyll and Hyde nature of that character and two versions, Harvey Dent and then Two-Face, and what they're, nihilism on one hand and idealism on the other. And it's just, I think it's squandered in this film because he just is just manic.
Yeah.
And that's all you get is that he's crazy.
You literally get like the little portion of Harvey is sort of like doing his monologue at the start. And then it's like when the camera reveals the other side of him, it's like, and that's it from Harvey for the rest of the film. Like it's just Two-Face.
Yeah.
And it is interesting too that you say that he's doing like a Jack Nicholson Joker, because he would have absolutely watched that and just gone, cool, I'll
That's
do
what
that.
they do.
It
That's
worked
what
for
they
him,
want.
it'll work for me.
Yeah.
All the other people that they were keen to sort of like maybe get from it, like Pacino, Eastwood, Martin Sheen, Bobby De Niro, were all like.
Can you imagine Pacino coming in and going, that Batman's got a great ass? Close up,
Yeah. Very good.
We have fun.
That's from a film called Heat, which I'm sure
I'm sure it'll come up. But Batman swings in and we introduce to Chase Meridian, Nicole Kidman's character. And
what a grand pursuit she must be.
yeah, she is an abnormal psychologist, and their banter is not subtle.
No, she's
Slap you in the face with it.
Hot entrance.
From the introduction of her character, it's like this film's very horny.
It's
like from the introduction of her character, it's like, whoa, okay, and that's what's a weird mix for me, is that it's like childlike on one hand, but it's got this sexual undertone.
Yeah, they're just like, hey, we want the deal back with Macca's, and Nicole Kidman's like, no worries, I've got something for you, it's fine.
Exactly right. But I suppose that it was interesting watching the Batman movie recently, the 60s one, is that in the 60s it sort of had a bit of a sexual undertone to it.
A bit. It was the 60s, man.
So
swinging 60s.
So Schumacher's clearly playing up that 60s
absolutely.
swinger.
And you can see in both this film and Batman and Robin where he's getting his ideas from. And like he was a big Batman fan, which Tim Burton wasn't. But you can tell that he was a Batman fan of a very specific era.
This is my Batman.
But yeah, I was watching it with Maddie yesterday, and she's like, "Wow, they really didn't waste any time making her go from like this really strong doctor type character to an absolute idiot. Like they undercut her character very quickly."
Bats aren't rodents, Dr. Meridian.
Yeah, you idiot! Come on, everybody knows that.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Anyway, so Two-Face and his henchmen are wreaking havoc.
In the bank, yes.
Yeah, his henchmen kind of look like the gimps from Pulp Fiction.
That's what I thought. They're like straight
Full
up
of leather.
goons. And throughout the film, you never feel Batman's in any physical danger from the goons that are on offer.
Like the first one who like runs past him like to go like charging at him, I thought he was just going to let him like go shooting down the elevator shaft, and I was like, that'd be funny. One of the like, there's a lot of deleted scenes for this film, but I really wish they'd kept the one in there where they actually introduced Two-Face as a threat. It starts at Arkham. Jeremiah Arkham goes to like go have a chat with like Harvey. He's killed the guard who was in there, or the orderly. He's hung him by the fan.
Ooh, I like that.
And he's like the roof's come off. Clearly he's escaped. But then he's written in the guard's blood on the wall, the bat must die. I'm like, why don't you start with that? But again, McDonald's.
McDonald's, yeah. They're going to sell toys, man.
There's no Happy Meal about that.
Totally fair.
It's an unhappy
It's sweet and sour sauce on the wall. That's fine.
So they've broken into a bank and they've cracked a vault, and that guard, he's gone full Admiral Akbar with it's a trap. But he is the most annoying character in cinema history.
You mean like,
oh no, it's boiling acid!
It's very Jerry Lewis.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Glavin, it's boiling acid!
it would have been good if you fell into the acid. It would have been,
Oh, man, we would have
fine.
loved it.
And Batman turns down and is like, oh no. Anyway, I'll continue with my life.
And
now.
uses the most ingenious use of a hearing aid, but I can't help but think that Batman would have liked to have turned his own hearing off whilst he was in that place with that incredibly annoying man.
Not an issue for Val, because he couldn't hear anything in that suit. He actually said that was probably one of the worst parts of playing the role too, because he couldn't hear anything. people stopped addressing him, and he found it really isolating being in the suit.
That's
But
why
that's
Schumacher-
method, man.
Oh, yeah.
Joel Schumacher would have like the megaphone and stuff. He was like, "You can't hear me and stuff. I gotta give direction into the megaphone."
Your parents are dead,
Yeah, you've got
and
nothing to live for, and go.
Oh, but this is it's a fun scene. I don't know how practical the plan is. Like, they stole stuff from the safe, but then he's also rigged it up with boiling acid. It's very elaborate.
It's a heightened universe.
It is, and it's really cool. Like, I love the safe being pulled out of the wall, and when
Looks
he
good.
does release it, it's swinging back in. It's all very fun and camp, and like, it does bring you into the world very, very quickly.
Yeah, and it's a throwback to that sort of 60s, you know, it's very plot driven.
Oh, yeah. And then we get a little bit of a helicopter kind of chase thing with him crawling up. I felt like Two-Face went a bit Macaulay Culkin with the yes.
Yeah, and he just goes further and further down that
Absolutely.
route.
It's been ridiculous. But yeah, you get some good like sort of shots of Gotham, Greek gods holding up buildings and stuff like that.
He actually does an inverse of what you anticipate with Batman, is that nighttime is the most colourful points in the film, and daytime
It's
is
like
very
saturated,
muted.
yeah.
And the characters in daytime, all of their costumes are really muted as well. But at nighttime, it's like their true selves come out, and there's all of these neon lights, and it's like when people's true selves come out, it's at nighttime.
Yeah. The lock that he puts on the helicopter, I actually had one of those locks for my car.
Oh, like the red. Sort
Yeah,
of
I was like, oh, he hasn't blown the budget on gadgets there. It's just like a regular car lock.
It's red though. It suits Two-Face.
That's true.
Yeah.
Oh, I tell you what suits Two-Face. The yin and yang parachute's pretty
Yes,
good.
yeah.
But also, I love the Statue of Liberty, half the face
Yes.
getting blown off.
I enjoyed that.
Really cool.
Yeah.
Really, really cool. So we head to Wayne Enterprises and we meet Edward Nygma.
Yes.
Oh, Bruce Wayne.
No, that's my name.
Who plays Edward Nygma?
I think it was an unknown, wasn't it?
Yeah. He hadn't done much in the 90s up until that point. No, Jim Carrey at the height of his powers.
Oh, yeah.
He's
Jim
absolutely in free fall, just soaring.
Now, I found it really curious, and this happens a couple of times in the film. He's already got a bobblehead.
Yeah.
Who is this character in this
And he's
world?
created. Yeah.
And
Where's it
later
come from?
on, why is no one like, and he's dressed exactly like our famous mascot, Mr. Question Mark.
Yeah, I wonder that as well, because clearly that character, already exists in that
Yeah.
universe, so they would call him whatever that character's called, right?
You'd think so.
That's
but-
why we've got the world's greatest detective trying to work out who the Riddler is by the end of the film. It's great.
But in that Wayne Enterprises scene, I actually really like how Val Kilmer introduces Bruce Wayne. I think he strikes a really good balance between being magnanimous and you can tell he's not trying to be too harsh to this clearly
No.
clearly deranged man.
Yeah, he's like,
obsessed
oh,
with
we'll
him.
set up a time. Yeah, that sounds great. Love to meet you. And yeah, but then he's like, oh, okay, you're giving me an ultimatum? No.
Yeah, because he just pushes him too far, and that becomes Edward Nygma's fault rather than Bruce Wayne being a jerk.
Well, 100%. So essentially, Edward has designed a new gadget so that he can kind of like feed off the brainwaves of television and so that you can have a more immersive experience. Obviously, we get some fun side effects later on from that, but that's his initial invention. And Bruce is very hesitant because you're manipulating brainwaves, and that's a very dangerous thing to do. Ultimately, he says no. It raises too many questions. Stupid questions.
I like that they return to that though. It's a good,
It comes back quite a few times, and it's
yeah.
great. Obviously, that's the flick of the switch. Like, you were supposed to understand. I'll make you understand. He's so good at playing a villain in this world.
Yeah.
Like that kind of like, oh, he's so evil, but goofy and jokey the whole time.
Yeah, like you get sort of, like the Cable Guys sort of like, sort of that dark sort of side of Jim Carrey, which comes across quite well. I would have been really interested to see how they would have gone with their, original idea to take the Riddler, which was good old Robin Williams. I would have enjoyed
Yes.
that a lot. Still
We
think it's
talked
a true
about it
robbery,
a little
but,
bit
yeah,
for Batman
89.
89, but obviously they burned their bridges with Robin Williams.
They looked at John Malkovich at one stage.
Oh, is that right?
Steve Martin.
Steve Martin, but John
Really?
Candy.
Kelsey Grammer.
Yeah.
John
Brad
Candy
Dourif.
had just passed away, so he said he was too emotional to kind of play a role that was supposed to make people laugh. I think he was also going through a divorce, which like half the cast
it
of
was,
this film
yeah.
is.
It fit in so well.
Yeah, Jim Carrey was going through a divorce, and as the Riddler was going to shave the question mark
Yeah.
into his head, but he
like,
had
"No,
to
I
be
gotta
in
go to
court.
court."
Yeah, but I actually I think it really works. It makes sense plot wise for me that Edward Nygma would idolize someone like Bruce Wayne, because it's never explicated what Edward Nygma's trauma is, but he sees in Bruce Wayne someone who's able to be this ideal of masculinity, and he's very cool. And presents that way, and you can see why he wants to become Bruce Wayne, but then it becomes that he needs to destroy him. Yeah. But he can't ever make a hardline decision one way or another.
Oh, yeah. So we get a bit of a flirting scene, yet another flirting scene between Chase and Batman. The bat signal is not a beeper. So if you want to go back and see a scene with good nipples, it's this scene.
Okay.
The bat suit is very prominent.
They're on
in this.
display?
It must have been cold on that rooftop because they are very prominent.
We're talking about the one with the bat signal? Yeah, great.
Yeah. But there's a lot of really cheesy lines here. Are you trying to get under my cape?
I love that one. But it's not my favorite in this scene.
Please, but I was waiting for you on this one. Go on.
Where Batman says, wait, what does she say? Set me up.
Oh, I don't know what she says to instigate it, but it's something about being interested in him.
It's the car, right? Chicks love the car.
Yeah. And they do.
Classic.
They love the car.
And then she makes reference to the fact that I've done my research. You like strong women, or do I need skin tight vinyl and a whip? It's
Yes.
hey, Catwoman still exists. That's cool.
In this universe.
Yeah, because they did try to sort of get her back in. That was in the original script, but then they were like, nah, and moved on, which is a shame.
You know what other lines stood out to me in this scene? When they say, we all wear masks. And I was waiting for Jim Carrey to pop up. Metaphorically speaking,
I wrote exactly the same thing.
Pity I can't see behind the mask.
We all wear masks.
Metaphorically speaking.
Also, I just love the sheer amount of times that Batman gets cock-blocked throughout this film. It's like Commissioner Gordon comes in, and it's like he ruins
the most
it for
useless character across these 4 films.
him. Bumbling oaf.
Definitely suicide. thanks for your help, Bruce. It's like, you're
World's
awful.
greatest detective.
So bad.
Oh dear. But then we probably go to maybe my favourite scene in the whole movie.
Yeah.
With Edward tampering with his machine.
Yep.
Now I've got it. He doesn't have it. He doesn't have it at all. But we
Stickley's
get...
going to fire him and get rid of him. And
He is.
But caffeine will kill you.
Caffeine will kill ya! The donk on the back of the head.
Yeah.
So basically Fred, his boss, comes in and he tries to fire him, but Edward rigs him up to the machine and discovers a very fun side effect.
And then it ends up basically, transferring his brain power into his, making him smarter. So,
And again, I like that it makes sense for Edward Nygma that he clearly is an unhappy person. And he wants escapism, and he wants other people to have escapism from the world that they live in.
Yeah, and you can tell too that he does have this obsession with TV too. Like he pretends he's on the game show while he's doing it. That
And his apartment is filled with that sort of like childlike escapism. It's filled with posters.
Yes.
Yeah.
Rain!
It's just the whole scene is so good, and he's just going. Like I wonder how much of this is written down in the script and how much is him just riffing.
I heard Joel Schumacher saying the brilliance of Jim Carrey is that when you watch him, you assume it's all just natural and improvised. But he said, kind of in a similar way to Jerry Lewis, is that it's very choreographed. He spends so much time figuring out what the track of that scene is.
That's awesome. I just love when he's like, I'm having a breakthrough and breakdown.
Yeah.
Maybe.
No, my favorite is, I don't think so.
Riddle me this, Fred. Knowing that is kind of cool too, because it's really good writing too. Like a flock of friggin' Freuds. It's all
Freud
awesome.
pops up a lot in this film. It's very Freudian with the psychology and the Rorschach test later on. Yeah.
Again, I'm waiting for Stanley Ipkiss to come in with his tie. But we get the I'm sucking up your IQ, vacuuming your vortex, feeding up your brain. Incredible.
But yeah, it's sort of the machine conks out, and Fred sort of threatens that he's going to call all these people on you, but most importantly, you're fired. And it's said, I don't think so. Yeah. And just pushes him out the window.
Yeah.
And you're fired.
Hold on.
Or should I say, terminated. Surf's up, big kahuna.
Ooh, nice form. Deliver rough on the landing. He may have to settle for the bronze.
Oh, dear. So we get a little bit of a news expo here on Two-Face's background.
Yep, for about 10 seconds.
Yeah, where he protects himself from acid by just putting some paper on half the side
That'll
of his
do it. Yeah, surely some would have got under, I would imagine.
You'd think so.
Yeah.
Maybe and then the legal documents burned into his face as well. You just see the text on his face.
I would have liked that. That would
have
been
Helvetica. Nice.
So Bruce is called into Wayne Enterprises after Freddie Baby's death, and I love Jim Carrey crying, "Why?
The memories." And then
he was like a father or brother or cousin that visits every once in a while.
Or he hands him the note. It's just like you find that it matches his handwriting exactly.
Yeah.
Just in case you had any suspicions.
But yeah,
and then they go and watch the video.
Security footage. He's just running out the window like this.
Also, I don't explain to me how they say how he does that later on, but
video forgery.
Yeah, but how does he have that?
Because computers
technology
can do everything in the 90s.
Yeah, apparently.
Jim Carrey can do anything. That's
it was the advent of AI.
Pretty much. But yeah, Commissioner Gordon.
We say that almost every episode, and this is where AI started.
Exactly. Yeah, Gordon's really struggling to work out what's going on. Watches the video with Bruce. Yep, definitely suicide. Great work, Bruce. I'm terrible at my job.
Oh, God. But Bruce also gets a card in this scene. I love the design of the card. So good.
And again, it's just it's simple. It's just really enjoyable.
It's really good. Fun fact, the riddles in this were all written by Will Shorts, the guy that does the New York Times puzzles.
Yeah, right. Okay,
Which is, what a weird detail. It's like, well, they're not overly complex. They probably could have written them themselves if they wanted to.
But I like the sort of cut and paste stuff. It feels very sort of like serial killer, like Zodiac kind of vibes.
Yes.
Which works well.
Kind of feeds into the apartment in the next scene.
100%.
It's quirky, but it's really disturbing too.
It feels a lot like Buffalo Bill's place in Silence of the Lambs. That was like the vibe I got, particularly how it's lit, but also just all the paraphernalia on the walls and everything. It's just. Yeah, this guy's a disturbed unit.
Yeah, absolutely. It's basically just a long corridor. Yeah. It feels like a wardrobe.
Yeah, filled with these guys. Yeah. They're everywhere. His favorite character. But he leaves him, in back-to-back scenes, leaves him another note. See you soon. And then we get another scene where he goes to visit Dr. Meridian.
This is hilarious.
And, but the tracking Dutch tilt shots as he goes in there.
Sick.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So good.
But can you explain to me what that... I mean, it makes me feel weird watching it, but
why they've done it there?
Yeah.
Because she works with people who are psychotic and insane, I'm sure it's trying to lure you into that world. That's the intention. So you feel uneasy when you go in there. And then, of course, with the fake out with her boxing.
Yes.
Which was her idea, by the way. She was really into kickboxing at the time and just said,
cool.
Is there a way we can just work this into the film?
He's like, I just need to get a sesh in. No worries, Nick. That's fine.
Yeah, cool. Well, we might as well film it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, he obviously breaks the door down. Break the door down? What are you kidding me?
This is a handcarved mahogany.
Completely shatters the door as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, that's a bit weird, man.
She doesn't question it, though. He's just
he's a strong man. That's when she starts to fall in love with him. It's like, damn, he's strong.
It is endearingly awkward in this scene.
Sorry.
His version of Bruce Wayne in particular, I find very different, but still like that nice mix of charming and
Like a little bit awkward. Yeah.
Whoa, especially because he's going through all the trauma too. Like, it's one of the more vulnerable versions we get.
Yep.
as well.
Yes, but a lot of people said at the time that he was just phoning it in. But I actually think it's a deliberate choice on his behalf to be someone who finds it really difficult to emote. Like he's deliberately paring back his choices and being minimalist. I think it's a choice on his behalf rather than him going, I don't give a fuck.
Well, it's a bit of both. He said it was genuinely like when he's wearing the suit, he's like, I'm so limited in what I can do. I get in there, I say the lines, I leave. But then in his role as Bruce Wayne, he's like, I can't be too over the top because then that will kind of stifle the performances of the villains around me. Yeah, it's really, really good. But he asked her about the letters. The first one is a clock. Next one is a match.
Total wacko.
Yeah, that's her professional opinion. Is that
She's
a
great at her
technical
job.
term?
Yeah.
I said to Manny, I was like, that is so insensitive for a doctor.
Exactly right.
But she already sort of like picks up on the fact that he could be like, well, he's not Batman, but he like has a relationship and stuff.
Oh,
like
he's
that.
got a thing for bats.
Yeah, and it's just like
Because
why would you
clearly
say
that was just ink. That didn't look like a bat,
bat.
but he interpreted it.
I
as
saw a bat too. So
I know, I've
maybe
got a thing for bats myself. It's fine.
Like our bats.
It's fine. Oh, dear.
But yeah, just starts rizzing up Chase and is like, hey, and it's just like, I need to get you out of these clothes. And I was like, whoa!
Really long pause before I explain to you
Yeah.
what I mean by that. Do you think he was just testing the waters?
Maybe.
So that if she was like, yeah, no worries, he wouldn't say the second half?
I feel like if you ever said that in a dating scenario and the person went on a date with you after that, it's like, I'm in. Because that's the creepiest way to start, like, chatting someone up.
And
To
then
go, I've really got to get you out of
specifically
those clothes.
into a black
Like
dress.
2 days later, into a black dress.
I've really got to get you out of those clothes. And into a black dress.
They are dressed very classy for the circus, don't you think?
Yeah.
It all seems like a black tie event, basically.
Yeah.
Because everyone's dressed up pretty well. But yeah, it's the charity circus, and if we've got a circus in a Batman movie, we're going to meet one family. So
The Flying Graysons.
Flying Graysons.
So you guys are more Batman aficionados than I am. Is this his origin story? Was he in the circus?
Dick.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. But it wasn't Two-Face who killed his.
Oh, no.
No, it was Tony Zuko.
Zuko, yeah. Danny Zuko.
Tony Zuko, hey!
That's what happens when he kills Robin's family. Just go.
This is T-Bird territory.
And then he goes, oh!
Oh!
Dick becomes an orphan, basically. That's what happens. So,
Yeah. At 35 years old.
Was he 35 in this one?
I don't know what he was, but he looks 35.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how many stud earrings you put in a person, they still look old.
Yeah, it's a bit like the high school students in Spider-Man, where it's like they're meant to be.
Or Jigsaw wearing a cap backwards and like, hey.
Yeah.
Because obviously they were trying to get Robin in. Well, Robin was supposed to be in Batman Returns. Like it was in the pre-shoot script. Marlon Wayans was going to be playing that version of Dick Grayson.
That's the version
was
you
Dick
wanted
Grayson
to
or would have
see.
been Tim Drake. I actually forget now. Yeah, they looked at like Matt Damon, Corey Feldman, Mark Wahlberg, Ewan McGregor, Jude Law were all
Ewan
considered.
McGregor.
Hello there.
Yeah, so they were all a bit interesting, but it was Chris O'Donnell. Yeah.
It's a choice, yeah.
I think he's okay. He's not my ideal Robin.
I'm not loving the sideburns.
Look, for me, it's Dick by name, Dick by nature. I find him
Nice.
insufferable as a character.
Good.
And I feel no sympathy for him. He's just the
his family
biggest-
deserved to die.
No, he's just...
Well, they didn't do anything.
He's such a sook.
Well,
I'm sorry.
No,
but he's
I
Batman,
welcome
like he
it.
says. Hey, I forgot my suit. I forgot my zook. It's fine.
So Tommy Lee and the gimp suits come in and they're... I found
It turns
this
into
so
Hugh Jackman
funny.
for The Greatest Showman.
I
It's
found
great.
it so funny when he's doing the discussion into the microphone. He's doing the big reveal, and then he turns around and everyone's like, "Oh!"
Two-Face!
Except it's a round tent, so half the crowd was looking at it, and they're like, "It's Two-Face, it's Two-Face, it's Two-Face."
No, there's
it's
no light on the other side.
He's got another side to his face
They just imagine someone with a
full
burnt-
purple face. And he's like,
Because then, like, prior to this, is like Bruce is trying to like ask Chase out on like a rock climbing date, and it's like, I've met someone. And it's like, oh, okay, so you're dating Batman.
Which,
Oh.
yeah, I
Again,
don't know that
and-
they've really established that.
And again, Bruce Wayne getting cockblocked by himself, by Batman.
Yeah, why
Classic.
did she go out with him then? She probably should have mentioned that before he paid for
ask
that
her rock
very
climbing.
classy circus.
And a classy black dress maybe as well. We don't know. But yeah, they set it up like there's going to be an issue because they take away the scaffolding and like the safety net for the Graysons, who are trapeze artists.
The death
And-
drop.
Yes, the without the safety of a net. And he does that. It is all fine. But yeah,
And we
that's
get
when-
the arms linking together, which we get a call back to that later when he pulls
Yes,
them out.
Yeah,
very
nice.
good. But yeah, that's when Face comes out. And he's got his own like ringmaster suit. It's great.
Yeah.
All the villains have about 17 costumes to
Oh,
wear.
yeah,
Jim
awesome.
Carrey is changing between shots
I
in
love
this
it.
film.
I love
It's
it.
wild.
The evolution
good.
of his costumes is one of my favorite bits.
It's so good. But essentially, there's a big old bomb.
Yep.
Not unlike a bomb that Adam West would spend hours trying to get rid of on a
I don't have hours. I've got 2 minutes.
Don't never bring that up again. I'm so angry about that.
We'll get there.
Classic.
But essentially, he says Batman's got to reveal his identity, and I love his. I'm Batman.
Batman!
I'm Batman, and there's chaos. There's too much. No one can hear that he's. I'm
Jason's right
Batman.
next
Yeah,
to him.
does James not hear that?
No, because it's just, and then it's like, Bruce, where are you going? It's like, he's going to do Batman things, quite obviously.
Yeah.
Maybe she thought he was just doing the Spartacus thing. I'm Spartacus.
Yeah, exactly.
Because then Enigma's watching this on TV. He's literally got popcorn, just loving
Oh,
every
the
second of it.
laugh that he gives is so good.
He's having a great time. But yeah, basically the Graysons try to help out and try to get the bomb because it's being raised to the ceiling.
It's wild that they're like, we're a family of acrobats. We should take care of this bomb.
We can stop a bomb.
Yeah.
No, because they've seen Commissioner Gordon there in the crowd's like, you're
Well, he's not going to do it, yeah.
He's not going to
Totally
do
fair.
anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, Bruce swings into action, is like fighting everybody, and the Graysons go up. But Harvey flips his coin, picks up the gun, shoots them down, and they tumble to their death while Dick saves the day and puts the bomb in the water. So,
There's this really weird shot of Val looking down at the family, but he's on the same level that they're on.
it's like, how
But
much
he's-
lower can you look?
Well, that's the thing. It's like they've either died right at your feet, or you shot this when you were like in the crowd and they've just inserted the shot
Yeah.
there. Because it's so weird when he looks down. It reminds me, and I'll put a little insert of it. There's this hilarious clip in Batman and Robin when Alicia Silverstone comes to the front door and Robin opens it and then looks up as if she's like a giant in the sky. It's so funny. But yeah, obviously with him being orphaned,
He becomes Bruce's ward, but he's not exactly keen on it. Bruce sort of like convinces him a little bit to stay because he's like, hey, you need to fill up your bike. He's got the Robin helmet.
plus you don't want social services putting you in an orphanage. You
No, as well.
35-year-old man.
Well, exactly. And he's just like, well, I'm going to go kill Two-Face. So, and I was like, well, maybe not. Come have a look at my cool cars and bikes.
Yeah, I thought it was tough talk for a guy who wears a onesie for a living. Frankly, like
Well-
I'm not threatened by Dick Grayson.
No, that's totally fair.
What experience does he have killing anyone?
None yet. And Bruce says to him, he's like, killing Two-Face won't take the pain away. And all I could think of was Nicolas Cage going, killing me won't bring back your goddamn honey.
That's what he should have said.
Once he does decide to stay there, we get like that quick flashback to Bruce's parents' death and the classic thing with the pearls. They add roses in it this time just so later on when he knocks some roses over, they can be like, yeah, that'll link them together.
Yeah.
I like all how the flashback sort of sequences look. They look fairly like trippy and...
The spotlight is really cool. It's obviously not supposed to be a realistic depiction as the rest of the film isn't either, but I really like the haunting. It's not even in black and white, but it feels like it's black and white because the colors are so muted and it's really cool with the lighting. But yeah, then they cut back after like this great sequence with all these awesome visuals. They cut back and it's just like Chris O'Donnell with heavy eye makeup. It's just like, oh, never have I seen a greater juxtaposition of something good quality and poor quality.
Then how else would we know that he likes to be called Robin, though?
Oh,
Yeah. That wasn't on the nose.
No, not
well,
at
no,
all.
it was on the helmet.
Yeah, it was on the helmet. Robin will fly again. That's what it says. I'm
He
sure
sure
of it.
will.
Well, it's funny that he doesn't have like a father figure in Bruce, but he definitely seems to feel that with Alfred.
He's got Granddad.
Yeah,
He's got Al.
Yeah, they have the stronger connection, but it's a rivalry really between Bruce and.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, that's Alfred's role in these films. Just thrusting someone else into a superhero role.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like, oh no, you followed me into the Batcave.
Yeah, he's
Whoops.
Here's
Very
a costume I've prepared earlier.
But Two-Face lures Batman into a trap and the chase is on.
Why does this scene happen?
Yeah.
Like, why is Batman called in the first place?
Oh,
I don't understand
Well, my thinking is that the only reason this scene exists is to set up Two-Face in the following scene being
his lair.
he just refuses to expire. So they needed some
some
scene
sequence
to,
of him not
to
expiring.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it also could just be that they had certain things they wanted to do in this scene. They're like, well, let's just cram it in there. Like the car going up the wall. I love that shot of all the people in the window. Like
Very
really
that's
watching
Batman,
it.
yeah,
Just
yeah.
like that's really cool. So I agree with you. It doesn't need to be here, but there's some fun like little bits and pieces in it as well.
Even just like a little, like with the bat signal or something like that, it could have been like, you know, oh, Two-Face has been spotted or whatever, anything like that. I'm like, okay, cool, that's fine.
Yeah.
And then he's not spotted because then he's in like the pretending to be an old lady pushing a
And it's very Green Goblin.
Very
Spider-Man,
Green
yeah.
But then we've got Edward picking out his outfit and his name, and he's got his head pasted on the statue of David.
Yeah.
So
Captain
good.
Kill. That's what he should have gone with.
I thought he really sold the puzzler. Just the way Jim Carrey delivers it. Yeah.
Later on, when the news refers to him, they're like, he's leaving puzzles everywhere, so we're calling him the Riddler.
Yeah.
We don't like puzzles, we like riddles.
Yeah, totally fair. There is a puzzler in Batman, yeah?
Probably.
Yeah, no, there's many different iterations
Okay.
of like Riddler-esque type characters.
But yeah, and that's what he goes with. And then we get
We go back to the
Two-Face's
lair.
lair, which is pretty cool.
I love that. So you got Drew Barrymore and Debbie Mazer as
Yeah.
the angel and devil on the shoulder.
Sugar and
Sugar and
spice.
spice. But
Again,
the fact-
very horny. Very horny.
Very. The fact that the whole layer is divided in two
Yeah,
is
I love
just...
it.
It's
The two
great.
different meals. It's all good fun. And
You get the first scene with
been
Jim
made
Carrey
extra.
and Tommy Lee Jones.
you
So
can call me the Riddler.
I think he comes in right when we need him. It's like
Oh.
where I'd missed him by this stage in the film, and I'm like,
I agree.
I'm a bit bored, and so when he comes in, I'm like, ah,
It's a
let's
breath
go.
of green fresh air.
Yeah, indeed.
Should we talk about the animosity between them?
Yeah, like a lot of it was based around the fact that Dumb and Dumber crushed Tommy Lee Jones' like passion project. at
It's
the
called
box
Cobb,
office.
I
Yeah,
believe.
and apparently the vibe wasn't good when they got in there. But the best line of it's just like when Tommy Lee Jones is like, "I cannot sanction your buffoonery."
buffoonery.
Yeah, Jim Carrey ran into him in a restaurant just before they were about to shoot this scene, which I assume is the first scene they shot together.
Yeah.
And Tommy Lee Jones, yeah. So
Yeah.
it's,
He brought him in for a hug and then whispered in his ear, I hate you. I really don't like you. And then I cannot sanction your buffoonery.
And
Yeah.
trying to out crazy Jim Carrey is a fool's errand.
Don't do it.
Yeah, you could see how he'd be a little threatened by the performance.
But I also think, like, given Jim Carrey was, again, at the height of his powers,
Mm-hmm.
and he was clearly crafting within an inch of its life these performances, I don't think he'd be a great listener.
Oh, I don't think he would have switched off between.
Like,
Even as he tells this story, he can see that Tommy Lee Jones does not want to be around him. And then he like sits down at the table
Yeah.
and he's like, tell me what's going on. It's
Yeah,
like, you
yeah.
know,
Leave
that's
him
pushing
alone.
the boundaries
Yes.
kind of thing.
Stop
Yeah.
poking the bear.
But he fully owns that. He's like, yeah, I shouldn't have done that, but well.
But yeah, like the fact that he just sort of keeps poking sort of Two-Face in this scene, it's really great. It's just like, that's never going to heal if you don't start picking.
Oh, so good. Even just the way he moves around, like everything he is doing is awesome in this scene. It's
Just
also,
so you, and just so you.
it's also the first of many hair changes for Jim Carrey throughout the film.
Yes.
He's got a couple.
Oh, more than a couple. Every time you see him from this point onwards, his hair is different.
And he has heaps of hair and then,
and then no hair.
hair.
Yeah. A lot of wigs.
But yeah,
Lot of wigs.
his physical comedy, it's just so watchable.
Obviously shows the fact that he's got the upgraded version of the box, and then we can get all of these in every single home, and then I'll help you find out who is Batman, and we'll kill him. And they're like, okay, cool. And they flip on it, and their revelry
There we go.
begins.
There's a couple of really quick scenes in succession here. So the first one is maybe one of my favorite scenes from the film, karate washing.
Man, can
Karate
he do laundry?
Oh, so good. When he drains it, and then as he leaves, like the...
And Alf's like, what are you doing?
No.
Well, you got water all over the floor, man. You don't do that. Oh, no, he mops.
He mops.
it
He
up.
mops as
It's
he
all good.
leaves.
That's my mistake.
there was any-
it is a flawless
If there
scene.
was ever any hope for me liking Dick Grayson,
This was it.
Death Knoll.
And now I'm on board. I wasn't on board
Yeah,
before.
no.
Oh, dear. But Nigma releases like the 3D box for everyone in the home. And I don't know how he gets to a position where he can just sell things.
I
builds up
got
the
the
capital.
sense that he's been stealing so much money that he can, he's
Yeah, but just like,
Elon Musk.
he's so famous and like
Yeah,
so
like the big press
prominent in a
conference and
very,
stuff.
very quick
yeah.
space of time.
Yeah. It's
and
not
then-
in reality.
That's true. That's true. And then we get Dick Grayson acrobating his way into the Batcave.
Yes, the silver cupboard on your way.
That door would have closed. I'm sorry.
It's basically there, and it's like, oh, it's open a bit now. It's
Yeah.
like, you could have just cut it just a little bit, that scene, and it would have actually made sense. But that's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
But he goes crashing in, and then he just gives the whole
And,
little wave to
Al's
Alfred.
unimpressed.
He's not.
Even though he left
Oh, I'm
that
so
door.
unimpressed.
What I
Anyway,
did-
let's make you a costume.
Yeah, what I didn't understand is that the intruder alert actually activates the Batcave. So the Batmobile
Yes.
comes to the surface. I'm like,
Yes.
surely everything would shut
Oh
down.
no, there's
That's
an
a
intruder. Look at all the cool
How
stuff.
are things?
terrible security system.
Very good.
If you had any questions about whose hideout this is, it's Batman.
So Bruce is still seeing Chase despite the fact that she said she wanted Batman, not him.
Yep.
So he tries to woo her with tales of his dead parents.
I love it. This is like, because he gets like the dream protecting doll, like sort of that she's given him and stuff.
My
And
dreams are coming to me while I'm awake
yeah, and
now.
it's just like, my parents were murdered in front of me. It's like, oh, okay. Just like, just go right in. That's fine.
I think it was
you
a
wanted free therapy.
good
It's
tactic.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
exactly
well, it
what he needed
works,
to
doesn't
do
it?
with the therapist.
In the
yeah.
long run, it works.
Yeah.
So Al calls to tell Bruce that Dick stole the car, and I love Bruce rattles off every car in his garage before he assumes it's the Batmobile.
Jaguar.
The other car.
He's
Alfred
taken
looks
that.
like he's had a stroke by the end. He's like, the other car.
He's gone travelling.
Oh, dear.
Like the little offspring needle drop here as well.
Hey, is
Like
that
smash
when
it up.
Chris O'Donnell's driving?
Yeah, not a stunt double, not someone who's qualified.
He
to drive
actually
this
drove
car.
it, yeah.
And he banged it up pretty well.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fender broke off and
Yeah,
had a
yeah,
couple
yeah.
of dents and stuff. It's like, yeah.
I mean, if you're going to be in a Batman film and get an opportunity to drive the car, you're going to drive the
You're
car.
going to drive the car and then you're also going to say, come for a little ride in my love
Love
machine,
machine,
baby.
Was that his like Scarface impression?
Machine that I love.
Machine, baby.
Machine, baby.
Going for a little ride on my love machine, baby.
That's culturally inappropriate.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
my goodness. No one we do it, though, because we're imitating him.
Yeah, exactly.
We're imitating a white male doing it.
The colours in this scene I love. The fluoro street fight. I
Yes.
think it's
It looks
really
great.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah. But he does. He saves a girl from a bunch of...
Because he
glow in
says,
the dark.
I'm Batman.
Yeah, I just left my...
Hey, I forgot my suit, all right?
Hey, I'm Batman.
Hey, I'm Batman. I forgot my letters at home.
Despite the fact that I'm half the size of Val Kilmer.
Yeah. Ah, well.
And I've got a completely different voice. That's fine. No, he's Batboy. That's what
Batboy,
the girls
exactly,
call him.
yeah.
And he gets a bit of a taste for saving people and a
does.
bit of a taste for lippies
Oh
in
my
this scene,
goodness.
too.
Doesn't
My
have
goodness.
a Batman kiss the girl. He's like a big swoon. He's like, I get used to this hero thing, but then they've just got significantly more,
Glow in the dark people.
yeah. I do like the fact that we get sort of like some elements of like his acrobatics is like in terms of his combat. We get none of that for the rest of the film. Yeah, the fact that like he's trying to do flips and stuff like that, I think that's a cool part that makes like Dick Grayson, interesting. And it's a shame we don't get more of that like when he's Robin, but imagine doing a lot of flips in that suit would be tricky.
Or when he confronts Batman, because when he confronts Batman, he just goes,
Oh, yeah. Your fault, they're dead. It reminded me of Mr. Burns. I'm going to give you the thrashing of a lifetime.
yeah, so pathetic.
But yeah, Bruce does come in to save him, and that's when that fight ensues. And they kind of talk about the idea of teaming up, but then Bruce shuts it down pretty quickly when he realizes that Robin still wants to kill Two-Face.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
he's also, I think, like terrified as well about sort of including anyone else sort of in his caper and stuff like that. And this, I mean, it's a big part of when like Robin comes through, like in the comics at various stages, like after when Dick becomes Robin, but then also when like Jason Todd and when Tim Drake become Robin, they come into Batman's lives at really sort of crucial points to help him sort of recognize that, you know, he needs someone. And they kind of like tease it a little bit here and stuff like that. I wish they'd probably flesh that out a little bit more. But yeah.
And they may have in the original.
They may have. We'll never know.
Yeah.
Marlon Wayans could have done a better job. Release the Schumacher cut. There's some good deleted scenes in that. There is one at the end with a giant bat.
That's sick. I love that. I can't believe they didn't put that in.
I should have.
Yeah.
So they head to the Ritz, Gotham, and Edward has modelled his entire look off Bruce Wayne.
Same
I love
times.
this scene. It's so good.
Incredible. So he's obviously got the mole and the hair and the suit.
How's my mole?
But it's when he keeps putting the glasses on and off at the same time that, awesome.
And he's got sugar on his arm, but then like Gossip Gertie goes up to him, but then like Brucey! It's just so extreme. It's just it's like, god damn.
Again,
it's like,
very horny.
Like we thought Chase Meridian was thirsty for Bruce, but god damn, she's gonna have to fight off Gossip Gertie.
Oh, there's Bruce Wayne! Brucey!
So he kind of tricks Bruce into going into the machine. Like, it's a bit of a team effort, but him dancing while he's watching it happen, he's like looking, but kind of like dancing at the same time.
I love the final bit when he goes, yes, and then he goes,
yeah.
But yeah, Bruce gets tricked into going into the machine. He thinks it's turned off at the time.
Because Sugar takes the vial out, but then she's got another one slipped inside a handbag or soft toy or whatever it is and pops that back in.
Yeah, it's a soft toy.
It's a soft toy. Hey, soft toys can be handbags as well. We've seen it. We've seen it.
I didn't know we were going to discuss the hard issues today.
But yeah, Bruce is in the machine and they basically start to work out that, okay, he's got bats on the brain.
Nice.
But it's all broken up because who's going to crash the party but old Harvey Two-Face.
Your entrance was good. His was better.
The difference? Showmanship.
It's the fact that clearly they're working together, but they're not on the same page.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, oh, a little bit of reality bleeding into their roles.
Trouble at home.
yeah.
But Chase kisses Batman, propositions him, says, meet me in my hotel.
I mean, lest we forget that she's cheating on Bruce in that
Again.
instance. Yeah.
Well, she's
up your
not, because she
mind.
told Bruce. He just decided to keep seeing her.
Yeah.
At this point,
It's an open relationship.
I think it's a therapy relationship because he just goes and talks about his dead parents the whole
They
time.
have
He's
kissed
doing it
at
for
this
free.
stage, though.
And that's...
No, Bruce hasn't kissed her.
No, they have kissed by this stage. In the previous scene, they kissed.
Did they?
And then Alfred, again, cockblocks him by doing the other call.
I don't know. I thought they almost went to and then didn't.
There was a touching of lips, I'm calling it. Play the footage.
Right there.
You are absolutely right.
correct.
Yeah. That's going to be way funnier if I don't play the footage.
I need validation.
And then, so like Batman flies in, takes out all the goons very easily. We get that little...
I like this little set too. Like, there's some big sets for very brief moments in this film.
Two-Face escapes in the elevator and Bruce is like, well, I can't get down in the elevator. I'm just going to jump off the building.
Yeah.
It looks sick.
It does.
That's a great...
Yeah,
Yeah.
really,
Falls
really
right
cool.
into a trap.
Yes.
Gets buried. Oh, how good does it look when he jumps through the flames?
yeah.
Incredible. What a shot. All the fire stunts look awesome.
It's pretty funny too because obviously they've got like that fireproof gel and stuff. His face is
like sweating.
soppy.
He's just like, I'm over this right now. And then I love how like continually frustrated Two-Face gets. It's just like, why can't you just die? And then just like grenade launches him to hell, buries him in a pile of stuff. I love the sort of even before we get that, it feels very
Sorry,
almost...
I'll just hold it until we get it.
Hold it.
You can hold it. That's fine. I like the score here with all the organs because it feels like we're in catacombs, very Phantom of the Opera-esque. And then, it's buried in. And then eventually we get a nice little close-up of the rubble. It's a really great shot. I really love all the individual rubble details that we're getting in this shot. And then eventually bursts through... And it's Dick Grayson in his circus costume, and there you go.
I thought you were taking the piss when you started describing the rubble.
I was.
How long can I get him to hold it? And I really liked the granules in that too. Yeah.
I actually counted each one, and I'm going to recount them now. One, two.
I've lost my place.
Very well played. Very well played.
I lost count.
Oh dear. But Batman goes to Chase. He goes for their little sexy rendezvous.
Go to her, is what Alfred said.
Go to the Dagobah system. It's when David Bowie's playing Obi-Wan Kenobi.
David Bowie as Alfred Pennyworth would be great. I'm down with that.
Yeah.
Can I persuade you to take a funky sandwich with you?
In the Nolan universe, he would be. He used David
true.
Bowie. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice. It's all full circle. So anyway, he goes there, but now she wants Bruce. Make up your mind, girl. Jeez.
That's okay, because then we get the best smile from Batman ever.
Mwah.
That scene is equal parts hilarious and hot. The perfect
That
balance.
perfect
Schumacher.
Yeah.
Peak Schumacher.
The sax in the background.
Oh, I think it was played by that guy from The Lost Boys. The Rustin with his saxophone.
He got all like the fireproof gel, like from the vice scene. It's like, hang on, I can use this.
Yeah.
And you just see him in the background on the rooftops. It's like, is that Catwoman? No, it's the sexy sax man from the Lost Boys.
I just had a question about the romantic scene. What was his plan if she chose Batman? Like, presumably they would have got to a stage where he
No,
would have
just
had
Cal. And
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
that's very Batman. Like that happens when he's having a relationship with Talia al Ghul in the comics. Like there's just scenes of him and stuff like that. He's just got the cowl on with like shirt off.
That's right, yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
So we could have got that.
Yeah,
But
I
we
needed to
didn't.
see that.
No, we needed more nip shots of the suit.
That's true.
We can't miss out on those.
The suit is anatomically correct, so we wouldn't have had to take anything off.
Yeah. Sorry, go back to your...
No. So they move
Back to your
on.
prepared script.
They move on, and then he goes
work
back
it
to
out.
the lair, and they have worked it out that he is in fact Batman, and they're going to go to the house. And while they are on their way, we find out that Val's ready to hang up the old cape and boots.
Yeah, he's like, no, I'm done.
I don't.
Starts turning stuff off, and then Dick leaves with the bike. We get like the random squeak behind him as well that he turns around and looks at, and he's like, okay, then keeps going, just wheeling the bike out. I was just like, I don't know why that's there, but that's fine.
Well, I've repressed it, so I don't even remember it.
Yeah, no, yeah.
It was a very egregious squeak.
I'm glad you've got all the key details.
Play the footage.
Play the squeak. Release the squeak cut. They're sitting on the couch, ready to sort of have a bit of a tell-all. We get the trick-or-treaters are coming for Halloween. But yeah, and then Chase knocks over the rose, and then it's like, back
Don't
into
drop a rose near Bruce.
Just never.
I think that's on Alfred. He should remove red roses from the decor. I mean, it's too risky
It is.
to have red roses in the house.
No
If he
roses
knows
allowed.
that It can't be the first time he's had a PTSD flashback from red roses.
Alfred's like, not
Kiss
again.
from a Rose plays, and he's like, no,
He's-
Bernie, no!
He's watching The Bachelor and he's like, "Gah!"
He's literally in the middle of telling him like her like a big thing. It's like, oh, that's cool. I'm gonna kiss you now. That's fine. It's like,
Aren't you
let
a
him finish talking.
psychiatrist? Shouldn't you support him through this trauma?
You're a terrible doctor.
Yeah, no.
This is what she does to all her patients.
I'm gonna kiss you now.
And it was directly after she asked him a question.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense.
Anyway,
But she works out a Tim from the lips. I don't know that I could do that. You think you'd recognize lips?
She's a very present kisser.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow, she's had a lot of practice with all her patients. So the Riddler and Two-Face come to the door in mask.
or
Tweak or tweet. Very funny. Bash Alfred on the head. Trick.
Again, the security at Wayne Manor is surprisingly lax.
Oh, yeah.
The gate opens,
yes.
anyone can get in.
Yep.
And
Trick or
anyone can get
treaters.
into the Batcave, apparently.
You just gotta have a magical question mark game.
What's that? It becomes like Jafar's stuff.
You can do it even.
Yeah.
It's like you can just do magic with it now.
Pointed at it, I was like, ooh, open sesame.
Yeah.
That's great.
He is just having so much fun
This
here,
is-
throwing the bombs
this
and
is
the way he's
Jim
walking
Carrey.
around.
Bam, bam,
Just
bam,
boom.
bam, 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 ba-da-da-da-da.
Yeah. I wasn't going to do the crotch grab, but
Yeah,
glad
it was under the
someone
table.
did.
It was under the table.
It's fine. It's fine.
But I love it that while the goons are attacking, Two-Face is just chilling upstairs, just flipping his coin until it lands on what he wants.
This goon fight is sloppy. It's so goofy.
I love it. Like the fact that we got the flipping over the couch when Bruce goes sliding across the table. And it's good fun.
It's awkward though. It's an awkward looking fight. Somebody tell the fat lady she's on 5.
And then completely blows the Batmobile to... The
Batmobile.
Blows the Batmobile to smithereens, and he's like, joygasm! And then, he's having a great time just flipping the cane around in any way he can, basically, in every shot. Finally
Batman.
Two-Face gets the coin on the right side.
Gets shot and knocked out. And like, no!
Yeah,
Kill him.
I love the desperation that he has in that moment because it's like he's
so good.
He's not just on autopilot. He's giving some thought to the character because that desperation is like, no!
Don't kill him.
If you kill
This
him,
thing.
he won't learn nothing.
And that's the funniest thing in the world to Two-Face.
When in doubt, laugh maniacally.
It's like, am I doing it right, Jim Carrey? Yeah, man, this is good.
So they take chase and leave Bruce
She's
there.
screaming a lot. Bruce!
Wow,
really
your
built
Nicole
up.
Kidman is good.
Bruce!
I thought it was more like Brucey.
Oh, Brucey! Gossip Girl is just there. She just pops out. She's been in the other room the whole time. He's been keeping her in the other room while chases her around. It's like, Gertie, you can't come out yet. Cheeky bugger.
Oh, mercy.
Good times. But we get a couple of my favourite lines here when we get back to the lair.
Oh, is it Alfred?
Like the jacket, it keeps me safe while I'm jogging at night. And Batman, you say, coming for you. I'm counting on it.
He screams in her face.
So good. So good. I thought you joined me on that one. That's one of your faves.
Yeah, I know. It just felt like there was
Too much. Yeah. Too many questions.
Too many questions.
Too many.
I like we get like the Riddler signal, like the question mark joining onto the bat signal. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Basically, Alfred gives like a really depressing update. It's like, Dr. Meridian's been taken, the cave is destroyed, and there's another riddle. And he's like, bugger. That's fine. We get.
How long was I out?
Yeah.
2 weeks later.
I love that Al was also knocked out, but he recovered much quicker.
Yeah.
He remembered what was going on.
He made him some sandwiches.
He was in the same room with Gertie. He was like, oh, God.
Whoa! Alfred, no! How much is your penny worth? Am I right?
So this part was really like I'd forgotten that he didn't know the Riddler was
It's
Edward
so
Nygma.
stupid.
Like all the riddles are just leading him to the fact that it's Edward Nygma, and then you're like, well, hang on a
Mr.
second.
E. Nigma.
There's
Edward Nigma.
That's very 60s Batman.
There's another person that's putting all these brainwashing stuff out there,
Yep.
and then someone leaving you riddles about brainwashing. And
Yeah.
How did you not put that together? Like, I know we're living in a world where a teeny tiny mask like this hides your identity, but
Come on.
I was pretty sure from the plot it was clear that he knew this.
Yeah.
But also as well, like, they don't have any news footage of the Riddler, and Batman doesn't meet the Riddler until literally the last scene of the movie. So it's like that was the only way I could justify in my head that, yeah, this is logical. But yeah, there's only one more suit left. The
chrome suit. It looks good.
The
I love
sonar
it.
modifications.
Yeah.
It's very shiny.
Yeah, people shit on that suit. I really like it. It's got a nice aesthetic to
Good,
it.
good sheen.
Yeah, good sheen.
And it's a good excuse for more Happy Meal toys. That's fine.
Special edition.
And so Robin turns up. Also, he has a new suit. The upgraded suit. Al's been hard at work putting that
I was
together.
going to say, goddamn. When did you do that? How long has Bruce been knocked
Bruce was
out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we get...
He's just sitting next to the
Sewing.
body.
just sewing this like metal suit.
He can wake up any minute. So one going by air, one going by sea.
One up both.
The Bat 2C.
Does anybody remember the
Bat 2C.
That's good. That's good.
One of the few Simpsons references you get.
And how come Batman doesn't dance anymore? Remember the Bat 2C?
I had both of these toys as well, which is pretty fun. But yeah,
Where was it today? You should have brought them along.
I don't know where they are. could not tell you. But yeah, then...
They crash?
Oh, yeah, because Two-Face and Riddler are just having a nice friendly game of Battleship.
Lethal game of Battleship. I love that.
It's pretty fun, yeah. Holy
Obviously-
Rusted Metal Batman?
Batman's reaction is all of us.
He's like,
Yes. Fed up.
Holy rusted metal, Batman!
And then we get this lovely, like, ADR of, like, Val Kilmer being like, Robin, wait. And I'm just like, where's that voice been the entire movie? You don't sound like that at all.
Yeah, was it almost Christian Bale?
A little bit. It was starting to get there. Where's Riddler? Two-Face.
Yeah, getting into Scooby-Doo territory. Now we have to talk about Riddler's final outfit. And
The
throne
leotard.
room.
Incredible.
Bruh.
Oh, the turnaround is great, but we just seen him playing battleships in the other outfit.
I don't
He's
care.
like, okay,
I
it's
don't
time
care.
He went to the
change.
salon while Two-Face was fighting Robin.
It's
Yeah,
so good.
the lovely little fight that they have. It's
Takes
great.
about 2 seconds for him to knock him off the edge.
Yep,
Yeah.
and
And
then
then
decides to
he's like,
save him.
I'm going to save you, and then he gets knocked out.
No,
It's-
but stupid. Yeah, then he's in the throne room, and damn, it looks good. Looks good.
You know Jim Carrey helped design a lot of these?
I love that.
Really?
Yeah.
But again,
Cooking.
I think it's not to over sell the
oversell it.
the themes throughout the play. It is a masterpiece. I just want to remind you all of that. Is that it makes perfect sense for his character. I think he's a guy who hasn't been seen in his everyday life, and the more he expands into the film, it's like this scene is his coming out party. It's like I'm the most extra, the most flamboyant, and I think it makes perfect sense for his character arc.
Oh, I couldn't agree more.
And Two-Face gets to the throne room very quickly as well.
Does and they rig up the machine as well. It's like it's a classic. Who's he going to save? And I love a classic. Who's he going to save? When one of the options is save both of them.
Particularly when it's preceded
That's
by
great.
for if knowledge is power, then a god. And I'm not going to go. I'm just like it just sounds like Zool
Christian Bale's
from, like,
Batman.
Sounds like Zool from like Ghostbusters or something. It's ridiculous. It was like
Was that
it's like
too
over the
much?
top. I
I
can
could
never
never
tell. And it's like Jim Carrey. You can say that in every movie, and you can never tell. That's fine.
Which is
I
much for
can
Tommy
never
Lee
tell
Jones.
either. It's not too much
Where's
for me.
the line, Jim?
It's
Where's
not
the
too
line?
much for me.
But yeah, you got Robin and Chase locked up, and it's all like a game show, which is great. And has to choose between the two. But he's, the best way to stop the Riddler is give him a riddle. It's like,
Which
really?
it's the shittest riddle in the whole movie.
Tell me.
It's so bad.
I really don't like the end of this sequence.
Okay, so he throws up the
What's the eye
batarang.
thing?
sonar.
He does some
sonar in
yeah.
his suit.
But why is that bit important
Because the
aiming.
lights go out.
in
So-
the rest of the room?
Yeah, not that you can tell because
so
we
damn
can see
right.
it really brightly. That's
Yeah.
the thing.
I don't mean to labour this. Does he turn the lights out?
Yeah, with the batarang.
Right. Okay. But yeah. All right.
Yeah,
Sure.
It's really dark in the room because
Jeez.
of all the bright green
We might have
neon
changed
that's
your
there.
rival ranking right here with this scene.
So him throwing the batarang shuts the lights out.
It shuts everything down. Essentially.
This effect though, it's goofy, but I really like it. The
Yeah.
warped kind of, and the fact that his face is like melted and like those prosthetics are pretty cool.
And I do like the fact that the entire room almost actually gets revealed as being computer generated because like the whole back end of it and
flickers and-
stuff. Bummoo.
I just don't like. How do you two feel about the fact that he wins by throwing a batarang effectively? Like that's how he beats the Riddler, by throwing something at a big.
That's how he beats both of them. Throw some coins.
throw stuff.
But I'm like,
throw it out.
I would have liked him to outsmart the Riddler, like
Considering he's
you
more
know.
of a psychological sort of villain.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
I think that's what they're alluding to with his riddle.
Yeah, the
but,
great riddle.
It's
Please, you're as blind as
that
a
doesn't work for me,
bat.
yeah. Gravity does not apply to this scene because
Nope.
he's able to
Save them both.
save them both and apparently fall faster than both of them. I don't understand.
But hey, he does it.
It's Titan reality.
He's got all the gadgets. He's got all the gadgets. But yeah, Two-Face is there for just plain curtains, as Tommy Lee says. But,
Yes.
and now we get the only indication that Bruce and Harvey had a prior relationship. And goddamn, I wish they did more with this. Because that's the whole reason why Two-Face is a cool villain in Batman. And they just...
Oh yes,
Skip
thank you,
over it.
Bruce. You've always been a true friend.
Yeah.
You see, Adam West comes in and says that to him.
Yeah.
Pure
West.
Maybe if they got Billy D. Williams, it would have been better. Who knows?
Yeah.
Well, undoubtedly, because it wouldn't have been Tommy Lee Jones.
I
But
also don't like that Batman is essentially advertently or inadvertently kills Two-Face. I'm like, this is a guy who's got the same split in his psyche that Bruce Wayne and Batman has.
And particularly having the whole lecture with Dick about not killing Two-Face. Like,
Yeah.
he's just like, you don't kill Two-Face, I will.
Yeah.
No, but you don't want to kill him for revenge, because then you go on a path of revenge. But he's like, well, I'm just killing him for fun.
Yeah. Got my little bat coins here.
I didn't mean to kill him. I was just throwing coins.
How did these get here? Harvey goes tumbling to his death, but hey, at least he catches his coin.
Yeah. And Dick's really taking it in. He's like,
Yeah, he got off on it. This is the sexiest Batman ever. And then we get the fun little kind of end sequence too, with Riddler's brain being melted.
Arkham,
It's like, oh, he knows the identity of Batman. Like, I'm Batman. Very fun.
It's good fun, and he's like, hey, your secret's safe. And then
and I'm like, is it though?
maybe.
He could be throwing off. I wouldn't.
That's okay. He's not in the next movie.
Yeah.
His costume is in the lockup.
That's right. Yeah.
But that's all. And that's all there is. There isn't any more.
No. But it's good fun.
But hey, actually, no, there is more. We get you too in the credits.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
And
Hold me,
Kiss
throw
from a
me,
Rose.
kiss me. Exactly.
Hence why I brought up Kiss from a Rose before.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bruce was hearing it and he was so traumatized, thinking back to his parents'
Not
death.
more roses, seal.
The most sensitive of the Batmans. Kiss from a Rose.
The most sensual of the Batmans.
Sensitive and sensual. That's how I describe this film.
Yeah. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Like, I mean, we're just about to do a rival ranking, so you're going to see how it compares to some of the others. I'm not saying it's my favorite, but it's definitely one of the ones I watch the most.
Yeah, the rewatch value is very high.
Yeah.
Through the roof.
Yeah.
Through the ref.
And if you ever want if you want the alternate sort of continuation, if you would want your Burton Batman hanging around with Keaton and everything like, I mean, you can go find it. It's still out there. The people have done like comic book series continuing Batman 1989, and you get Marlon Wayans as Robin. You get Billy D. Williams becoming Two-Face. It's good fun, worth a read.
I'm just picturing Marlon Wayans as Robin being like, "What's that?"
No, he's like he's very much like a Robin Hood for the streets. That's sort of the whole character. And so it's quite an interesting sort of character, and it does a lot to sort of humanize Bruce and has a much more organic connection than the one that's formed between Val Kilmer and Chris O'Donnell.
I'm a part of this, whether you like it or not.
Should we move on to our rival rankings?
Let's do it.
With the song, should we just like, bam, you come up your face, bam, in a little bat signal on the beats of the music.
Yeah, that's what
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. Or maybe that'll be.
Do you want me to do it? Look to the camera so you can do it?
Yeah, please.
Got a long list to reorder. We might agree in ways. 'Cause we're gonna rank things, baby, based on our faves.
All right, so just to kind of clarify, because we were a little bit unsure of which films we were going to include in the mix here, we are doing the 2 Schumacher films, we are doing the 2 Burton films, we're doing the 3 Christopher Nolan films, Batman v Superman, and we are doing the 60s Batman.
And the Batman by Matt Reeves.
Oh, yes, of course.
Some of the most recent of the Batman.
The Batman.
Yes.
Robert Bat.
Yes. Unfortunately, that means we are not counting any animated theatrical releases. Otherwise, I'd be very much featuring... I could put Lego Batman in the mix.
Yeah, we had fun doing that on the pod.
We did. Batman Mask of the Phantasm is probably arguably one of the best Batman stories.
Jade's favourite.
Batman Sub-Zero as well is a really, really good time. I probably would have put those in my top 4 quite comfortably, but those are off the list. Mask of the Phantasm would almost be number 1 for me if I could, but no animated stuff, all live action.
I'm leaving.
Fair, that's okay. Hey, but we're not doing that, it's okay.
You can stay. Yes.
Not only can you stay, but you can start.
I can start?
Yeah.
Okay, so over the weekend, I watched the only one of these films that I haven't seen before, which was the Batman movie from 1966. And good Lord, was it a slog. I can totally understand. Like for the first 30 minutes, I really enjoyed going back in time I can see for
the 60s.
Yeah, for a 20-minute episode, I really enjoyed it.
It kept going.
Yeah, but it just kept going, and there's no editing. It's these long shots. I found it insufferable by the end, and I wanted it to stop.
So you haven't seen this one, have you?
No, so
it'll be in your
automatically
last
it's my
place.
turn. But yeah.
It's in my last place too, so I'm happy to jump in on it as well. But we watched it together. I'd seen it before. I had a fonder memory of it than when we watched it back. I
probably sullied it for you by going, can we please stop this?
The credits are still rolling.
It's interesting you say that because it was equal parts like when you're watching a film with someone else that's not enjoying it, it does tank the film a little bit. But I got some enjoyment out of how much you were disliking it. Especially because
like
you weren't hiding it at all. You were just like, oh my God.
And there's so much talking. They just, like, the penguin, I actually, who's the guy that plays the penguin?
Couldn't tell you.
Yeah. Anyway, they've got good interpretations of the character, which are enjoyable, but past the 45-minute mark, you're like, just stop talking.
Hit somebody.
Yes. Eventually we got the wham, zap, pow.
But only periodically. Like, it was a fight, but it wasn't happening with every punch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think it's really fun. It's obviously a parody, but where the parody falls down is in some of the poor execution of the film. You go, well, hang on, now it's not I'm doing this to be purposely bad. I'm also doing a bad job of putting a film together. And the lack of editing means that you find it hard to appreciate the parody because then you start to question, is it parody or is this just a really bad film? And so, yeah, I agree. 20-minute episode, half hour, even an hour-long film, I would have been like, that's pretty good.
Installments.
But there's just so much of it that you're watching things play out in real time and you're like, oh my God, just get to it. So, yeah. Couldn't agree more. That is in the 10th place.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Nick, what have you got in number 9?
It's the Batman movie that isn't really as much about Batman. That's Batman versus Superman.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Are we in unison here?
Yeah, we're agreed.
Cool.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
I fly through this.
I still remember going to watch this movie as well. Like I had some gold class vouchers that were expiring that day, and I brought along. Basically, it was a night where like, oh damn, I got to go organize a movie. None of my mates were available, so I was like, all right, Dad, we're gonna go watch Batman vs Superman at 9:30 screening as well. And my dad was turning around, and he's not like a big comic book fan at all or anything like that. He was just coming along just because I had the extra ticket. It was fine. A lot of the times, like, what's going on? And I'd be like, I don't really know either, Dad. And I'm not sure I want to. There's some good moments of this film.
I'm not sure I want to.
No,
that's good.
There's some good moments of this film. I mean, like the whole scene where Batman goes in to save
the
Martha
warehouse.
Kent.
Yeah, best fight scene. Arguably the best fight scene of any Batman film.
Opening is
sold
really
me on
good too,
Batfleck.
with Batman going into the city while it's being destroyed. Really good.
Mm-hmm.
But the rest of it, I just don't like. I mean, I really wanted a sequel to Zack Snyder's Batman movie. I didn't, but not like to his Superman movie. I wanted
not
Man
like
of Steel.
this.
Not like this. I did not. This is not Man of Steel 2, and this was not my reintroduction to Batman that I wanted after the Nolan movie. So they're just trying to put too many ideas in, and then it turns into a bit of a CGI fest. And then Wonder Woman comes in, and we all love Gal Gadot as an actress, and
enough champagne to fill the Nile.
and then we get a nice little Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. I'm sorry, Doomsday at the end of the film, and then you've got Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor, which I can see where they're going with the character and what type of sort of tech billionaire, sort of very much
I don't want to see
Luthor,
it though.
but it's not the Luthor.
I can see where you're going. I want to unsee it.
Yeah, I want them to stop. I can see the destination, abandoned ship.
Yeah,
The red capes are coming.
Ben Affleck, though, I think a really good Batman.
Yeah,
really good Batman.
And
we should make that clear. We're not ranking our favorite Batman.
It's the movies
as the
already.
Character. It's the movies, the whole movies, and he is really good. But yeah, it's too much grandma's peach tea. It's just
with Elastigirl.
Yeah.
Take a bucket of piss and call it Granny's peach tea.
Yeah, but he does that older. It's the first time we get sort of an older Batman inspired by the Dark Knight Returns comic.
Yep.
And I really like both his Bruce Wayne and his Batman. I think he does a good job, and it's a shame that he wasn't in better films to really explore that and to get his own, because at one stage he was going to direct his own Batman film.
Would have been great.
Yeah.
Just lost his passion for the project.
Would have worked out who had killed or what had happened with Robin dying and stuff like that. All that sort of stuff.
Speaking of Robin dying, in my 8th position, I've got Batman and Robin.
So do I.
So do I.
Oh, look at us go! Woo!
Already our minds are becoming one.
Yeah. Yeah, so Robin doesn't die literally in this film, but metaphorically, the whole film is just a slog.
Yeah, very, very much like, the rubber lips. We're immune to his charm as well, and that's fine. It's not great.
We're immune to his charm, but what charm?
Exactly.
Yeah, he's a whiny bitch in this film. Like, there's no other way to put it.
John Glover can't save this film either.
No,
he can't.
Look, John Glover's pretty good in anything.
Time to scream.
Yeah. Arnold Schwarzenegger in this film is
great.
Nonsense.
Sing, come on, sing.
I don't mind Uma Thurman because I think she's doing like the camp 60s style really
Femme
well.
fatale sort of Batman.
Agreed.
Yeah.
But yeah, the whole film's a bit of a mess. George Clooney
sucks. He's the worst Batman.
It was going to be more nuanced, but you just came in.
Sucks.
Yeah.
Loved him coming back in The Flash. That was great. That's my favorite Batman movie.
Hey, that actually was great because it meant the film was over.
Yeah.
It's true. And now we're going to get a new film with George Clooney.
Oh, dude. Yeah, this whole thing, it feels like a retread of what happened in the film we just talked about, where like they're not getting along and they can't work together and they don't trust each other. Yeah. But they mended those fences at the end of Batman Forever, and then they just do it all over again at the second one. And it feels real forced. In the same way that a relationship between like Obi-Wan and Anakin feels real forced when they start going at each other. This feels exactly the same.
Yeah.
It's the risk that most superhero films fall into when they try and shoehorn too many villains into
Joel Shoehorner.
But also just too many characters generally.
Not Joel Shoehorner? You didn't like that?
No, I liked it.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Because you've got the introduction of Batgirl. There's just way too many characters to introduce into this franchise in one film. Spider-Man 3 suffered from the same thing where you just got far too much going on.
Yeah, like
Batman 66 also suffered from that.
Yeah, I mean, like I would have been fine if it was just like a Mr. Freeze
We're
film.
past Batman 66.
Would you?
Yeah. I would have been fine with it because
Arnie.
Yeah, because he like fully leans into it. I'm like, I'm pretty good with the puns.
He leans into something. I don't know what it is.
I don't love like Mr. Actually, no. To be fair, like sometimes he does get portrayed as like a bulking sort of like not himself, but the suit as well. He could be like Terminator style suit, which is great. And I do like
nothing clean, right?
And I do like the opening sequence, like the fact that he's going into the museum to get the diamond, but then Schumacher's like full, like, all right, here we go. What?
Don't blame him.
Maccas are going to love this.
Don't blame him. Blame Warner Brothers.
Yeah, it's a toy commercial, basically.
It really
toy
is.
commercial. Yeah.
Or a credit card commercial as well.
So what do you have in your number 7 position?
Controversially enough, I have The Dark Knight Rises.
Not controversial for me, because that's where my next one is as well.
It's not mine.
No.
But it's the next one up for me. So
okay,
we're around
so not too controversial. You're okay.
Yeah.
Explain your reasoning behind this.
Look, I have a lot of love for, obviously, the Nolan trilogy, as we'll see. But I feel as though, and it may have been because Heath Ledger died after The Dark Knight, I just feel as though Nolan sort of lost his passion for that universe and didn't really know how to tie it up. It ties back into the first film quite nicely. And, you know, within the context of superhero films, it's still an amazing film. I just feel as though, given that it was the third film of that franchise and the first 2 entries are incredible, I just think there's way too many plot holes. The scripting isn't great. It's, you know, Talia al Ghul isn't really a great villain.
Oh, but she knows how to die.
Oh, wait. Let me do it.
Please.
My father's work is done.
Perfect.
Marion Cotillard.
Give him the Oscar now.
My father's work is done.
Yeah, you're talking about the things that you feel Christopher Nolan lost in this film, and I feel what he lost was his cut button on his keyboard.
Yeah.
Because it's too long. It's really long, and it just feels like there are some sequences that are drawn out for the sake of it. It's overindulgent.
Yeah.
Self-indulgent in that regard, but I'm also not a big fan of Bane. I know some people do really like Bane.
Yeah, no,
but,
I like Bane.
Yeah, I don't find him that compelling as a villain, and especially because of how, difference is great in terms of, you don't want all your villains to meld together. We talked about that with Batman Forever. But I just feel like I love the Joker so much. So to follow it up with this kind of... It's just... He doesn't have the nuance, I don't think. The Joker is so unique in his pursuit for chaos because you're like, what is he doing? It's so crazy. But it's like he actually does have a full plan behind it and a rationale behind why he likes chaos and why he wants to kind of tear down the systems. And for Bane, most of the times, I just don't buy his motivations. And when you effectively find out at the end that he's just like a glorified bodyguard, then that kind of takes away from it for me because it puts too much pressure on Talia being incredible, and she just isn't.
Yeah, and I always get sad at one of Joker's last lines in The Dark Knight where he says, you and I are destined to do this forever. So clearly Nolan had envisioned that he would be in the next film. And
100%.
They'd explore that further with him breaking out of Arkham. Apparently that was going to be part of the plot. Do you think that's part of it? Is that Heath Ledger dying really left him
rattled him in terms
how
of what he was
do I
gonna
do this third film?
Yeah, look, I'm sure it was. And I also think that he didn't necessarily want to kind of tie up all these loose ends. He would have been quite happy to have a Batman film where it was this is what Batman is doing, but he's not finishing here. And then when that plan was disrupted, it almost feels like he's like, oh, quickly, I've got to tie it off. Like you were making a TV series and you find out you're not getting renewed for a new series. Need to tie off all the loose ends. That's what this film feels like. Hence why it's overstuffed, and also why everything at the end feels like it needs to be wrapped up with a bow. But it could be no, Batman can still be working on Gotham.
It doesn't need to be Joseph Gordon-Levitt. That's fine.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
No.
Yeah. Your
seventh.
Yeah, so I had Batman Returns in there. So the second Burton film, I don't mind this film. I really Michelle Pfeiffer is absolutely brilliant in this.
The Happy Meal toys were
incredible, so good that they couldn't sell them anymore. Narratively, I don't really love this. I don't like Penguin's motivations and everything like that. A lot of it just gets a little bit too gross out, and I just don't really enjoy this, particularly of how much I love Burton's first film. I still Keaton's still probably my favorite Batman, but this film started to get a little bit overstuffed. There's good moments. But I would say the moments from Dark Knight Rises are what I enjoy the most. The opening sort of set piece with the plane is one of the best things I've ever seen in a movie. I love the chase from the stock market. And there's good enough sort of action scenes towards the end of the film that I like that, despite how overstuffed that feels. And I do like Bane's motivations and coming. I wish they had done different things with Tom Hardy's voice.
What do you mean? He's got a lovely voice.
Yeah, Christopher Nolan's really great with dialogue and making sure you can hear it in a movie. That's great. But yeah, I liked sort of that, particularly considering how they portray Bane in Batman and Robin when he's actually supposed to be a criminal mastermind. That's how he gets introduced in the comics, basically, that he breaks Batman over time through running through a gauntlet of villains and eventually literally breaks him. I like that they try to do this a little bit. And I also like Anne Hathaway as Catwoman. I really enjoy that portrayal of the character, considering she's got some pretty decent leather boots and leather in general to fill. So 100% agree with you, in terms of the narrative feeling overstuffed, drawn out, and this is when I don't like Christopher Nolan when he's doing really long films. And I would have liked to see what they potentially could have done if Heath was still alive. I still enjoy that more than Burton's second crack at the Cape Crusader.
Totally fair. So that's your 7 and 6. What do you have in 6?
In 6, I have Batman Returns.
Oh, me too.
So it was.
We are very on the same page.
Yeah. It was very close for me. These two. What got Batman Returns over the line for
It's
me at
shorter.
the number 6. It is shorter.
You can hear the characters.
And just rewatch value. I think I would sooner rewatch Batman Returns than I would The Dark Knight Rises. The Dark Knight Rises was very, it was cathartic to see the end of that saga. But if in terms of like going back,
I can't do it.
I would much rather rewatch Batman Returns. But I agree with you that Burton's gone full Burton in Batman Returns, and it makes me feel a little sick watching that film. Like the bodily fluids of Penguin.
It's too much.
The eating fish. Catwoman looks like she hasn't showered in weeks. It's like the whole thing's very pallid and pale, and I start to feel queasy watching it.
I'm okay with that. That's actually probably why I like it more. Everything to do with the villains in this film is why it just got ahead of The Dark Knight Rises.
I forgot actually one of the reasons why I prefer The Dark Knight Rises. We're talking about villains. It's got Ben Mendelsohn in it.
Oh, bloody Ben Mendo.
G'day, Batman. G'day, Batman.
Yeah,
How you
talking to
going?
Batman.
Hey, Bane. How are
I've
you?
been talking to Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah, I can't hear a word you're saying, Tom Hardy, with that mask on. You just need to speak up a little bit, mate. I'm trying to act opposite you.
Speak up.
Speak up. I'm Ben Mendelsohn. I'm Roland Daggett. But I can't. I'm dead. I'm Ben Mendelsohn. I'm a dead man.
Keep going.
No, don't give him any encouragement. So the villains in this film I think are great. Like Danny DeVito is awesome. Michelle Pfeiffer is awesome. Like they are similar to what we were talking about with Batman Forever. Like if a film has good villains, then it really does kind of sell that film for you. And look, I'm not saying that Two-Face is an incredible villain, but he's having a good time, right? These guys are really committing to what they're doing. I like how dark it is. I like how disgusting it is. I understand that for the market that they were going for, probably doesn't work, but as an older viewer, I love that stuff. And some of my favorite things about films that are going to appear on this list, but also are going to appear in my Val Kilmer films. Like, I like darker content in films. Yeah, that's what kind of sold it for me.
It's not in terms of a film expanding Batman as a character. He doesn't really get much development.
No.
Yeah.
Keaton's not doing as much in this film, which is a bit of a shame. Unless when he's DJing. He's great with the season, like a heart from hell. That's what he's doing.
That's his prime moment, right?
Yeah, I had forgotten that.
Oh dear.
Thank you.
I'm actually going back to back Keaton's because in my number 5 position I've got Batman 89.
Whoa!
Yeah, I know. Well, when you said Keaton's your favorite Batman, I was like, he's not like this.
You're correct.
I really like Batman 89, and at our number 5 place, I think it's safe to say that the films going forward now are all great films. And so we've done it on the pod before. I shouted my appreciation for it. Again, the darker moments in this film are what draw me to it so much. Like the mirror, give me the mirror, like the laughing and that. It's really quite confronting when you see the Joker for the first time. It's like a horror film.
Yeah.
And that stuff really draws me into it. I think Keaton is a great Batman, but again, I think the script lets him down in these films. I think that if he got more opportunities to come back and play like an older, tired Batman, I would be completely on board with that.
That's okay. The Flash exists.
Anyway, so woo. But yeah, it's some of the scripting is a little bizarre, and then we get bizarre delivery as a result of that. You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. It's like, okay, what's going on
Keaton,
in
what
this
are you
scene?
doing?
Yeah, you are getting a little nuts.
Lady, you're scaring us.
Yeah, Jack Nicholson is incredible in this film, but there's a lot of this film that I actually think doesn't work in its campness because they don't fully commit in the way that a film like Batman Forever does. So, yeah, there are some things in it where it's like, you're supposed to be taking this seriously, and then a really goofy thing happens, and you're like, this doesn't feel like it exists in the same film as some of the other sequences we've seen. Like, hey, I love Jack Nicholson dancing to Prince as much as the next person, but it doesn't necessarily suit the darker tone.
So let him cook.
But still great. And like, I think being in a number 5 position of 10 is a pretty good place to be.
Yep. Yeah, my choice is the same. Batman 89.
My goodness.
I've got a lot of love for this film. It was sort of one of my earliest memories of Batman as a kid. I really like Michael Keaton's Batman. I think he plays the weirdness of what that character would be in order to do
man,
what he
half
does.
bat.
Yeah, I love the sequence where who's his love interest?
Kim Basinger?
Yeah, Vicky Vale.
Vicky Vale. When she wakes up in the middle of the night and he's swinging upside down. He's sleeping like a bat. I love that quirky stuff.
Oh, I see. I hate... Why? He's not a bat.
He's Batman.
No!
But it's very Tim Burton, and I love that. I love the gothic storytelling. And Jack Nicholson, I think, is every bit as good as Heath Ledger in a very different way. I think he's great in that role. Yeah.
Nice. In my 5 spot is the film that we've just discussed today. So Batman Forever sits in there. 5 and 4 were really, really close for me. But Forever is really, really good. And Val Kilmer's up there with like my favourite Batman. But not quite the favourite. And I really enjoy this film, but just not as much as the others on my list. I wish I could articulate it better than that, but I can't. So it's fine.
Next on the list for you?
It is Batman Forever for me. So in number 4 is Batman Forever. And again, we've already talked about why we like it. The main reason it's actually jumped ahead of so many others is what we were talking about with rewatch value. It's my most rewatched Batman film. Being a huge Jim Carrey fan growing up was a real selling point for this film for me. And this is actually probably the one that I associate most with my childhood growing up, as opposed to the Keaton Batmans. Like, for me, I had seen them before, but I actually only went back and revisited them and truly enjoyed them the way they're supposed to be enjoyed after the first Nolan came out. So after Batman Begins, I remember renting Batman 89 on the way home and watching it that night and being like, I feel like I'm taking this in for the first time properly now. And so, Batman Forever was one of those ones where I grew up with, so I've got a lot of nostalgia for it.
My number 4 pick is Batman Forever as well. Jim Carrey is one of my fondest memories of childhood, and remains so. And
as your childhood friend, Jim Carrey.
And so I think, a large part of it is Jim Carrey in that film, and just have fun and light and rewatch value. I can just watch it again and again and again. I think I've probably watched it, of the entries we've talked about, the most.
So in my number 4 spot, I've got Batman Begins. So kicking off the Nolan franchise. I really like this film. I do remember seeing it in cinemas and being pretty freaked out. Seeing it, I think I would have been like 11 years old. And I was like, oh, this is a bit different to Batman and Robin. Around this time is when I really started to get into reading a lot of Batman comics and understanding like how much sort of like shared DNA it had. There's parts of it that haven't always sort of like aged well. I don't love Liam Neeson as Ra's al Ghul or Ra's al Ghul, depending on your pronunciation. It doesn't matter. They change it all the time too.
I'm seething in my seat. I'm going to sip this water resentfully.
Go for it. But I like sort of the setup of Christian Bale as Bruce Wayne and as Batman. I like the Gotham that Nolan creates, although we don't see like a heap of it in this film. But I like the idea of like the Narrows and sort of like the infancy of Arkham and everything like that. And I just like the world that he starts to create and like the crime feel of Batman that I enjoy. Like that low level is very much like, that street level sort of crime. Like when he's talking to people like Falcone and then like Cillian Murphy, I think does a really good job as Scarecrow. I really like his portrayal. Yeah, and it's good fun. Love the Tumblr. It's great. Rachel!
I might piggyback off that because in my number 3 position, I've got Batman Begins.
Lovely.
So for me, I rewatched both Batman Begins and The Dark Knight last night just to kind of see, like they've always been very close for me in terms of rankings. And I was like, is there things I'm forgetting? I do think that the reason I've put Batman Begins in 3 instead of ahead of The Dark Knight is because it does take a little while to get going in terms of it. Like it's over an hour before he's Batman.
Yep.
And I love that origin. I really do like the origin story, but it's a slow build. It is a slow build. And I would say that the reason that this film would be in contention for one of the best is I think this is the best dual personalities that we get of Batman.
Yeah.
This idea of Bruce Wayne coming in and having to put up a front. So it's like you've got Batman, you've got Bruce Wayne as a character, and then you've got Bruce Wayne, the actual person. And I think this is maybe one of the only films that shows all three of those personalities fleshed out. The idea of him having to go out and do social things just because he's expected to do that, and he has to put up a front, and the fact that he openly resents Batman as Bruce Wayne in public.
Well, a guy dresses up like a bat clearly has issues.
Like the buying of the hotels, letting the girls swim in the pool, kicking people out of the mansion, like billionaire burns down mansion. All that stuff is never better than it is in this film. So that is why it's so good and why it's so high. But I do think that some of the other films, some of the other entries that I will be putting in today, just have some more memorable moments throughout. And even though there are some great sequences in this one, and it does a really good job of establishing who Batman is and how he came to be. And I really like Liam Neeson in this. I think he's incredible in this. I just think that there's better stuff in the other two that I'm going to be talking about.
I'm different in that my number 3 entry is The Batman, Matt Reeves. The Batman. Got a lot of love for this film. I love particularly the world building that Matt Reeves does in this. I think the history of Gotham, he really fleshes out the characters, the interrelationships. I think arguably this is the best Gotham of any of the other entries. I love Robert Pattinson as Batman. At this stage in his development as a character, I just think we don't get the 3 personas of Batman. We don't have Batman public Bruce Wayne and private Bruce Wayne. We barely get 2. Yeah, exactly. Just Batman.
Yep.
So
totally
for that reason, I think it's limited in where he can go in his arc. And it's got about 40 minutes of fat on it. I thought right up until the Riddler gets caught, the pacing is so good, has so many great moments, particularly the revelation of the Batmobile.
Oh, yeah.
I still remember the chills I got in that scene. Lots of great moments, but I think the ending of the film is what bumps it down to 3rd place for me. It just, leaves me with a bad taste in my mouth.
Okay. Totally fair.
Number 2.
No, number 3 for you.
Oh, number 3.
Number 3 for me is Batman 89. So,
right.
Yeah, so I really like this film. Nicholson's great. I like the Prince soundtrack. It's a bit of fun. It's kooky, but also still serious enough. I think that the blend is quite good in this. I just have a really good time in this film. This is probably one of the ones I watch the most. And I have a good sort of nostalgia with this as well, that I always hold in high regard the films that my parents have introduced me to, particularly my mum. And I remember she bought the 4-pack of the original sort of films, and we sat down and watched this together, and I had a really good time. I remember being sufficiently creeped out when Joker reveals himself in that whole scene with the surgery scene. I just really loved it, and there's the right amount of Burton here for me to say this is good. Yeah. So that's my number 3.
What's in your number 2 position?
My number 2 is the number 2 of Christopher Nolan, is The Dark Knight. So
me too.
So I really love this film. I love this film. I would say it is a better film as a movie than my number 1 film, but my number 1 film is a better Batman movie. So I really like.
That's confusing.
Yeah, well, I'll unpack it.
My reasoning is the same. Yeah.
The plaudits that Heath Ledger got for his role aren't nearly enough for how good his performance is. Plays the Joker to perfection. There's no bad origin story. I mean, you get multiple origin stories, which is perfect for
and they're all good.
I love, when Alfred talks about chasing chaos, and some men just want to watch the world burn. I had to get a little bit of Michael Caine there at some stage.
Love it. I love it.
And yeah, like, and when like Heath's like talking about the fact that he's like a dog chasing cars, like when I get one, I don't know what to do with it. And it's like, it's perfect. And this whole idea of sort of just like the chaos versus Batman's order is fantastic. I really like, I'm still waiting for a definitive Harvey Dent portrayal, but I think Aaron Eckhart does a pretty good job. I don't like how quickly they rush the transformation of that character. I think it would have been really cool if they set him up as a villain for the third film.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that would have been fun. I think that Maggie Gyllenhaal does a really good job as Rachel Dawes coming in.
I hate her.
I prefer her to Katie Holmes. So
whoa,
but yeah, I really like the world of Gotham. Chicago looks really good. I went to Chicago a couple of years ago, and it does really feel like Gotham. And yeah, it's just I think this is Christopher Nolan's second best film that he's done. Behind the Prestige, and just so many sequences, just so memorable. Like the opening bank heist, incredible. Like the chase with the bat pod. Like,
I was watching it last night. That whole sequences where you just go, "This is flawless."
Cooks.
The opening bank heist is perfect.
It's one of the best openings to like a film that I've ever seen.
Yeah. Well, and I would say that this is probably my favorite villain in a film I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And so when you have like enough of those key moments, even if you do think that there are certain things about the film that are not the best that they could potentially be, like rushing the Two-Face storyline, then like you get enough of those really great moments and you go like, no, that's enough to push it over the edge. And so for me, I don't feel the Two-Face thing as much as you guys do. I think that considering what they had to do with the character and turning a person that is good bad in a quick turnaround, I think it's the most believable way they could have done that in a short space of time.
And I get that's like what the Joker's trying to do. Like, and show like sort of humanity's like worst side of itself. And that's cool. But yeah, I just think that they just burn it a little bit, particularly because Two-Face dies.
Yeah. Totally.
Spoilers.
But just, I love like the hospital
Dark Knight is your number two.
Yep. Oh, it's incredible. It's really, really good. Plus, it's got that great line. What's the difference between you and me? I'm not wearing hockey pads.
Classic.
Yeah, I do think Christian Bale goes too far with the voice in this one.
What do I mean? What Oh, the interrogation scene.
Oh, yeah. Incredible.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Probably my favorite. That's my favorite Batman scene
I just
ever.
want my phone call.
Yeah, that whole scene. I reckon the whole sequence from when they're transporting Harvey Dent through to the interrogation scene is awesome. Some of the best. Like,
is the Dark Knight in number two?
Sorry, number two for me as well.
There you go.
This film is what made me want to be an actor when I was in 2008. How old would I have been? Would have been 14, 15. And I really fell in love with Heath Ledger's Joker. Similar reasoning to you, Nick, that I think it's a better film than my first entry overall. But I do think by virtue of Heath Ledger being as good as he is as the Joker, Batman is overshadowed in this, and it really becomes a Joker film. And I don't know that there was any other way they could have done it, given how good Heath Ledger is in this role. I think we lose some of the elements that I really like in Batman Begins. Like Gotham just becomes flattened out, and it just becomes like any city in America. And we lose some of the characteristics that make it a Batman film. I think it's a great crime thriller. Probably one of the best crime thrillers, but yeah, it's those other tweaks that just bump it down to number two for me.
Yeah.
Which of course means that in number one, you've got Batman Begins.
Indeed. Batman Begins, I think, what I love is kind of similar to what we were talking about with Schumacher. Schumacher's Batman was the 60s Batman. He wanted to really ham it up and make it camp. I think Nolan's an incredibly cerebral director. He's fascinated by minds. And in the same way that he unpacks, he works from the inside out. And I think he unpacks the Joker's mind in The Dark Knight. But Batman Begins is the film that gives us the definitive unpacking of Batman's psyche and why he does the things he does.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's done in any of those other films. It's got one of the best training sequences of all time. That whole sequence where he's training with Ra's al Ghul is incredible. I love training sequences and origin stories, and this does it to perfection. I love Ra's al Ghul. I love the Scarecrow. Yeah, and his, as I said before, his Gotham, I think he really creates an indelible Gotham that stays with you, and then we lose that in the later entries. But yeah, I find the arc of Batman in this film really satisfying, and for that reason, it's my number one Batman film.
Nice. Well, if my calculations are correct, you and I share our number one position.
We do.
The Batman.
The Batman with Robert Pattinson.
Look, I went and saw this with you in the cinemas, and I wasn't really expecting much of it. Like, the advertising was great, but I just think I wasn't in a stage where I was like, I need another Batman film. After the Christopher Nolan trilogy, I was a little tired. Obviously, we had Ben Affleck come in as Batman as well, but in no films that I really connected with. And so going to see another Batman film, I was like, okay, it's just, it was very DJ Khaled of me, but it was just another one. And so I went in to watch it and was just immediately drawn into the world. When he steps out onto that train platform at the start and just beats up that whole gang of people, I was like, oh, I'm in. I am fully in this. The reveal of the Batmobile, the Penguin, incredible. Just the whole world building is really, really good. I don't necessarily connect all that much with the Riddler, but I liked the horror elements of like the first attack of the Riddler.
Oh,
like,
yeah, that's right.
Like Paul Dano as the character doesn't do all that much for me, but just like the horror, terrifying kind of Zodiac-esque elements really worked for me. And above anything, the fact that it is a detective film and that it has that element of noir to it completely brought me into it. I agree that we don't get many sides to Batman, and it's why I'm really keen to get another version of this character, especially because the resolution of this film is that he wants to explore both sides
Step
of himself.
into the light,
But even in this one side of him, it was enough for me, and it was enough to get me really geared up to see more. I also agree that it does stretch on a little too long after the Riddler is caught. That part is a little frustrating for me. Some elements of it definitely work to kind of conclude some narratives and kind of wrap up some loose ends. But others, like the introduction of new things like the Joker and the fact that it has more endings than a Lord of the Rings film is... Yeah, that for me is frustrating, but it wasn't frustrating enough to tank it in that first position. It's a really weird thing because I'm looking at something like The Dark Knight and I'm going, it doesn't have as many flaws, but it also doesn't have as many things that I love. You know what I mean?
Okay,
and that's always going to be a struggle, but the two of these are both just incredible films, and I'm very happy to put them in a 1 and a 2, whichever way they fall.
Interchangeable,
Yeah, I think like for a lot of the reasons you like it, it feels like a David Fincher film with Batman, and that's cool for me. Like, because I love Zodiac, I love Seven. It has a lot of that sort of DNA. There's really sort of like some almost like Scorsesean sort of elements with how like sort of Gotham feels a lot like sort of New York. In a lot of ways, in how this like the city.
And that part where Joe Pesci comes in.
Yeah, he does.
Funny how? Huh?
Just talking to Barry Keoghan in Arkham. Yeah, my clown was like, no, that's me. I don't like the fact that we get Joker involved because one of the best things about Batman is his incredibly expansive rogues gallery of characters that have not been touched yet. Yeah. And I'm like, no, I'm just going to keep going back to. The old clown. But
do you think they're going to put him in the next film?
No. I think that...
If the film gets made at all.
I think he'll be in the third film. I think that makes a lot more sense. Yeah. I'm hoping that they are leaning towards what
just
they've talked about
with...
with...
Murder on the Dance Floor?
Maybe. We can only hope. No, I'm hoping that we get like a Mr. Freeze or... they've talked about Clayface.
Clayface is what I would like.
Hush, I would enjoy.
Hush would be great.
Really cool. Yeah. They've set up that Tom Elliot sort of exists in this world, which is great. But yeah, the detective side of things just makes this film a lot more cerebral than I think any of the other ones. It's the only time that really Batman does any detective work, and that's cool. And to put like my favorite comic book character in one of those films, as he should be, which is I think his best stories, means that this is the most quintessential Batman movie that we could get. So, yeah.
Nice.
Outside of Mask of the Phantasm.
That's for you, Jay. Oh, nice. I'm very happy with that. Like, I was thinking there might be a couple in the mix where I'm like, what? Get out of here. Just
and
leave
number
me,
one,
right?
Batman and Robin.
But no,
I really wanted to mess with you and do the Batman movie from '66 as my number one.
Oh my God. I would have loved it. I would have been all about it. Let's play that entire movie right now.
Play the clip.
Alrighty, shall we move on to 5 favorites?
Shell.
We got 5 favorites. Above all else. We got 5 favorites that we think are top shelf.
So, as mentioned at the top of the pod, we will be listing our 5 favorite Val Kilmer films in no particular order. I took this as a little bit of an excuse in the last week to go back and watch some of my favorite Val Kilmer films, but also some films that I had missed previously. And one thing I will say about him as a performer is that even if the film that he is in isn't a great film overall, he is always incredible in it. Yeah. And I got a lot more of an insight into that watching the Val, I think it's on Prime, the documentary, and his process and how much he cares about a role and how much he commits to a role. It was the idea of him kind of not even knowing, will I potentially get this role, but making all of these tapes and kind of sending them off to his favorite directors just to be like, whatever I can do to get into character, and I'm going to be this character for a year, and just like all these processes, I had no idea, but it makes so much sense because when you watch him in these roles, he's just so engrossing. He realized very quickly that he was a character actor and he wanted to play these roles that were a little bit left of field, not necessarily the leading man, which obviously he is in Batman, but he even talks about how in Batman, he looks on with envy at these villain roles that he's like, that's me, I want to play those kinds of things. So, just before we got in, I had to mention that because he is an incredible performer. Obviously very sad to have him pass, and obviously with throat cancer and everything that he went through in the last few years, it was, really tricky for him. And he knew that losing his voice after throat cancer, it was like, that's the end of my career as I know it. But he still was very artistic, exploring art and getting back into like visual art and painting and stuff. It was just, it's a hard watch because it's a touching story, but it's especially for big fans like we are, it's difficult to see all the hardships that he went through. But one really cool detail is his son narrates it, and his son sounds identical to him when he's younger.
Yeah, and he's speaking from Val's point of view, right?
So he's reading what Val has written. It's just incredible, really good. Anyway, I've talked enough. Someone want to jump in for their first favourite?
So I had to include Batman Forever.
Yep.
He brought his approach as an actor to that role, even though it wasn't a lot of, especially in the final edit of the film, he didn't have a lot to work with. But I think you can still tell watching the film that he's put his nuanced take on it. It's very, like I said, it's very minimalistic. It's very pared back. But I find he's got something magnetic as a performer rather than electric. There's a lot of electric characters in that film that sort of come to you. He draws you in as a performer, as when he's playing Bruce Wayne and even Batman. And I think, he puts his own spin on the character.
Nice.
It's on my list too.
It's on my list as well.
Oh, there you go.
I like the way that he plays off like bigger characters in that film. I think works.
Yeah.
Really, I don't think the film would work if he was doing like Christian Bale Batman with with Jim Carrey and Tommy Lee Jones doing what they were doing. So, over time, I've appreciated that role like a lot more, which is good. A couple of honourable mentions for me would be Deja Vu. I really like that film with Denzel Washington.
The time travel lord just messes me too much.
So Val Kilmer was good in that movie.
He's good in it,
and Denzel Washington's in it.
Exactly. So
there are no bad Denzel.
My man.
And Prince of Egypt was also on my
honourable mention for me too. Yeah,
he's damn good as like a voice actor, like playing Moses and God. Val Kilmer is God. So
that's what I've always said.
Been in there. But I had Batman Forever sort of in my. I've kind of done like a little bit of a loose.
Oh, yours is a ranking?
Kind of.
Oh, fair enough. Go for it.
Like a little bit. Batman Forever was in that spot, but I'll we've already talked about Batman Forever, so I'll talk about the next film. And I know you'll talk about this, and I'm sure George might be on your list as well. But Kiss Kiss Bang Bang,
nice.
He's just so good. Like his
It's my
comedic
favorite
timing,
of his films.
Yeah, it's outstanding. He's just so good.
I mean, the film in general is incredible. Like, again, detective sort of story, but you've got Robert Downey Jr. as like this smarmy kind of like fast talking. Like, it's incredible. He has played a detective a few times because he just suits that role. But Val Kilmer as Gay Perry, oh my God, it's incredible.
Yeah.
Like, him just calling him an idiot and calling him out on all his dumb behavior. It's so good.
It's a great pairing.
So good.
It's a really,
a picture
really
of
good
me?
pairing.
No. The definition of the word idiot, which you fucking are.
Just smacks him in the face with the suitcase. Oh.
What do you mean? Do you see that in the thing? Can you... Ow! What were you thinking?
That film he's right in the pocket.
Yeah.
And Robert Downey Jr. has, like, come to Kilmer's defense as well in terms of his process and the fact that he often gets labeled as someone who's difficult to work with. He's always like, but he isn't. He's trying to get the best performance out of the role, and he's trying to do right by the film, and you can't hold that against him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had The Prince of Egypt in my top 5.
Oh, nice. What a film.
Yeah, it's a great film. And I actually really like the doubling up of his voice as Moses and the voice of God. I think it does something really interesting. It makes you think about that as something that's happening to him internally rather than an external force. And I think he doesn't do the singing parts in that film, does he? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Don't know. Like, he can sing. He's sung in a lot of other films that he's been in, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, but no, Prince of Egypt.
I'll put it on the screen now. Singing or not singing?
Yeah, but I love DreamWorks having entries like that every bit as good as your Disney animated films 100%. In the 90s and early 2000s.
Nice. I'm going to list one that I don't think will be on either of your lists, and that is Mindhunters.
Yeah, nice.
I showed it to you not long ago, like a couple months at most. And it is essentially about a group of, they're like analysts that are working for...
Like BAU sort of like Criminal Minds sort of types.
Exactly right. And so they work out like patterns in serial killers, and they're about to graduate. And as the final kind of task for them, their final assessment, they go to an island with Val Kilmer as Jake Harris, who is like their instructor. And again, it works so well for those roles of him being like really sarcastic and like attacking them for doing the wrong thing. And it's just, he is great in it, but it's also just a really fun film.
Yeah.
Like, as someone who likes escape rooms, it's like an escape room in a movie. They go to an island and there's all these traps set up, but then it turns out there's actually a serial killer on the island. And yeah, it's a lot of fun, but his performance, whilst limited in the film, is incredible, as always.
Does the most with what he's given, always.
Yeah, I'll have to add that to the watch list.
Yeah.
Next one for me is probably one of his most known roles, and that's Top Gun. Iceman had to be on the list. I love him and Tom Cruise playing off each other. Obviously, the scene from Top Gun Maverick where they sort of reunite has got an extra layer of emotion now. Which is, it's just, and I love the fact that Tom fought to have Val in that film and to have that scene, have that moment, incredible in Maverick. But the portrayal in the original film is just great. The way that they bounce off each other is like, they hate each other, but they kind of really love each other. And he just fits into that sort of like cocky, braggadocious character so well. Yeah, I think it's obviously like a massive feather in his cap and one of the roles he's most known for, but for good reason. He does the most in that role and knows exactly what type of movie he's in and what role he needs to play. So yeah,
good hair in that film.
Damn good hair.
Yeah. I think we've got this film on both of ours, which is Heat.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes.
An incredible film, regardless of Val Kilmer.
Yeah.
But him in it, I think, to your point about him really wanting to be a character actor, I think he really gets to lean into that in this film. He's playing someone with drug addiction, and it's really enjoyable to watch him, explore the nuances of that character.
Oh, yes.
And, go deeper and deeper into it as the film progresses. Like, he's not as... You sort of think of that film when you think Robert De Niro, Al Pacino as the two standout performances, but again... You watch back that film and he's up there with the two of them.
couldn't agree more.
I think, it shows the caliber of him as an actor that, in a film with De Niro and Pacino, that still one of the things you probably talk about the most is Val Kilmer's performance.
Yeah.
He's just damn good. And, in terms of, commitment to the role, he's so good at reloading a gun that's the footage that they show to actual soldiers. If he can do it that well, that's how quick you need to be.
Yeah,
and that whole the last sort of shootout is incredible. The fact that he's bound, but the fact that he comes out of the bank happy go lucky, we've done it and stuff, and the immediate transition bang, all right, I'm firing and stuff. I was oh god damn. And then his interactions with Ashley Judd are really great.
Yeah.
When she was on the balcony and saying his realization that he can't go home anymore is really sad. It kills the way that he sort of flicks in and out sort of between sort of himself and then being on the job throughout the whole movie is incredible. And Heat's one of my favorite films of all time, and he's a massive part of that.
Another big thing that I'll say for Heat, which again is on my list, is that it's a long film, but it doesn't feel like a long film. So we've kind of talked about that a little bit with The Dark Knight Rises. It's it feels like it drags a little, but this never feels like that. And the pacing throughout is incredible. It's not all go, 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 but the way that they draw you in through the character interactions and the building of suspense and that good versus evil where you're who am I rooting for here? Yeah. It's just... It's fantastic. So it was always going to be on all of our lists. Yeah, it was 100%. Really, really good. Are we up to one?
Yeah, because number 2 is Kiss Kiss Bang Bang for me, which we've already talked about. Number 1 for me is, if you haven't seen this film, you must. It's Tombstone, which was a Western film made in the 90s. Val Kilmer plays, I'm going to say it, the coolest film character in all of film history, Doc Holliday.
You're so drunk you can't hit nothing. In fact, you're probably seeing double.
I have 2 guns, one for each of you.
Who's the sort of dry, withering sidekick to Wyatt Earp. And he's just so good in this film.
Incredible.
He buttons every single scene he's in. Every line he has is the line you remember from that scene. He does this with so many of his roles, but the vulnerability he's able to really gradually build and then sucker punch you at the end with it is so satisfying. That hospital scene at the end gets me every time. But he, it shows incredible restraint on his behalf to only give you glimpses of that. You see this guy physically deteriorating. He's got tuberculosis in it. And you see him gradually physically deteriorating, but then he can't hold off anymore in that last scene. And it's, very satisfying.
Oh, look, it was my last one that I was going to mention too. It's, as I said, I don't really rank these. I'd probably have Kiss Kiss Bang Bang as my favorite of his films, but Tombstone would be a very close second. And I just think that the performance that he's giving for it, every line is really satisfying. When he first comes in, he's playing cards and oh, you're not wearing a bustle. How rude. It's just...
Must be a peach of a hand.
Yeah. Oh, it's just incredible. But my favorite moment is when he has the cup and he's doing the gun trick, swinging the cup around. But it cuts to a close-up of his face. He's
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's just...
And apparently, his dedication, apparently he was practicing that. Because it was really technically difficult to do that
swing
with
a cup. Yeah.
Arguably harder than a gun. Yeah.
I was just waving it around. What? Oh.
No, give it a go.
Oh, no.
You'll break your finger.
All over, yeah. It's fantastic. It's a great film. It's an all-star cast.
The cast.
And just a Western, when a Western looks that authentic, there's something about it that just draws you into the world. Again, we watched it the same night we watched Batman 66, which
that was our reward.
Hard. We didn't want a double bill. Yeah, we didn't know which one we thought was better, but it was tricky.
Neck and neck. Some stage you're still trying to work that out.
Yeah.
I tried to shoehorn Batman 66 into this list.
Yeah, just so you could talk about it again.
Val Kilmer's spirits in this film. That's fine.
But it was something that you said where you were they must have done so much research to get this as authentic as possible, and you feel it. When you're watching it. It just feels like it was shot at the time of some of the classic Westerns because of the authenticity of what you were seeing on screen. It's just really good.
And again, there's so many highlight moments, like the fight at the OK Corral, the final showdown between Doc Holliday and Ringo.
Yes.
Where he comes out of the shadows and he thinks it's going to be Wyatt Earp, but it's actually Doc Holliday. So many good moments.
Really good.
Tombstone probably would have been on the list. I've only got halfway through the film. I was literally watching it last night. So
how could you turn it off?
I fell asleep. I passed out. I was really tired.
It's that good. Go see it.
It's that good. I'd done it as a back-to-back with Batman Forever and doing my notes. So Heat would be my number one if I was doing like sort of a power ranking. This film would be number two, and it's Top Secret. That film was so stupid. I loved the hell out of it. Because I really love Airplane. I love the Naked Gun films. Obviously, it's the same directors. And this is like the most ridiculous and rambunctious films, which says something considering if you've watched Airplane and watched the Naked Gun.
Yeah.
But this is so stupid. Like from the first song about like the skeet shooting while they're surfing. What am I watching? And the fact that he's playing sort of like this Elvis type character going into like a war setting, and I'm like, this is great. And I had so much fun. Like I was trying to like write down like quotes from the film, and I just couldn't remember them all because they're just ridiculous. And it's honestly like one of the most fun like comedies I've probably ever seen. And I love Val Kilmer's. He just goes in there. Like
the fact that it's his first role,
that's nuts.
It's wild.
Like,
so I also watched this in the last week and had a lot of fun with it. I couldn't justify putting it into this top five, but it's wacky and it's weird, and they make so many references to, like, one of those lines is something about the fact that it sounds like something from a bad movie, and then they just turn to the camera. It's really good.
Peak spoof.
And as someone who grew up on Elvis films too, like that was really fun to see him doing his like best impression of an Elvis type character.
Yeah, the fact that
and he learnt guitar for it, and then they told him, "Oh no, it's funnier when you don't know how to play guitar."
It's like,
once again, things that could have been brought to my attention yesterday.
Val.
Yeah, it's very sad, but it was nice to be able to pay tribute to him on the pod. He's one of the greats. He is one of the greats, and nothing has reinforced that more for me than watching his films in the last week and watching that documentary too. Like, he just cares so much as a performer. Yeah. Well, on that note, make sure you're liking, subscribing, sharing it around. If you can jump on the Terminator pod and give that a rewatch or share it around, because it was up for about 2 weeks before I had to take it down, and so that's our prime spot for getting views, and they were all wiped clean before I re-uploaded. So just click on it and then click on it again, and then just keep hitting that refresh button for us.
That'd be great.
But on that note, we are going to head off, not because we have to, but because we choose to. Thanks very much, guys, and catch you at the next film club.
See ya.